Let me go grab a glass of water. Be right back in just 1 minute.
That's actually exactly what I wanted to say. If you're doing this style.
We're live?
Yeah.
We're live?
Okay, I'm back.
EGAxslav.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Sure. It's going well.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on, man. When I, was first thinking about ramping this show up, there are a few people I was, had in mind, just kind of around the community, and you're definitely one of those guys. So this is really cool. Yeah. So what have you been up to? Just kind of get a, get a feel for what you've been up to first.
Ever since Providence, I've been kind of taking it a little bit easier. I went on vacation for about a week after Providence, and I've been back, and I've been playing some and trying to stream some, but not quite as much as I did beforehand. And actually, in a week, I'm going to go on another vacation after this tournament Mountain View. But starting, after New Year, I'll be back going strong and providing a lot of stream content. I'll be practicing really hard for upcoming tournaments as well.
Oh, that's going to be sweet. Definitely going to be sweet. So, I mean, when's the next tournament, actually? Like in January, or?
Let me see. There's home story cups in January.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't even know if I'll be able to play in the qualifications for that because they're held on like the one day I'm traveling. So.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
That's such a great tournament too.
Yeah. I may be at playing it, but I don't think so. Depends on what time of day it is.
I see. That's cool. But all right, how about we just jump right in?
Yeah.
Let me explain to everybody what the format's going to be tonight. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have EGAxslav go over 3 replays that he has, one of each matchup, and we're going to have him kind of narrate through it and kind of go through his logic and kind of why he's going with a certain composition or why he's going to engage here versus there, and kind of walk through that and kind of learn as much as we can. And then after that, we're going to probably the second half of the show. We'll probably take a quick break in between, and then we'll jump right into some games so we can see some of this some of the things that we learned or EGAxslav explained kind of in action. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. So let's go ahead and start out with these replays. I kind of trying to load them up here. Okay, so they're numbered, so you're gonna have to tell me which one to load up first.
Well, which matchup do you want to start with? There's one of each matchup.
Which one do you want to? I'll leave it up to you to which one you want to.
Let's just start with the PvP, which is 59592.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I'm loading it up.
And I would suggest we just get it started at the 4-minute mark, maybe.
Oh, 4 minutes? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think anything happens too much before then.
Yeah, that's probably true. Especially in PvP, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, probably more happens in PvP than other matchups.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a lot of early, serious micro
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I'll 8x it up to 4 minutes.
I'm almost there.
Okay. So you're playing Mentalist here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this was from, I'm guessing it was from, I'm at 4-1, close enough.
Okay.
I'm guessing this is from a Play-M tournament. I used to run Doom a lot back when I played those. So.
I saw you play last night.
Yeah, last night didn't go very far at all.
Yeah, I was chatting with Shu when you guys were playing each other. So.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, I'm almost there. Alright, okay, I'm at 4 minutes. So let's go to faster.
Yeah, before we unpause it, just
Sure.
from my viewpoint, a couple things to look at. One is I already got in his base, and I saw he was saving up a ton of chrono boost.
Okay,
So right now, in my mind, I'm thinking 4-gate, and I saw only 1 gas.
I see. Okay.
So the another thing is I'm using that first cell I made out of my gateway to kind of scout around the edge of my base, just make sure there's no hidden pylons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to proceed with the build from here. So should we unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause.
Okay. And so what composition, what build are you pretty much going with in this game?
This game I'm opting to go Phoenixes, which is one of my favorite PvP builds. Okay. Often I do a 1-gate Phoenix, but because here it's a tournament, I might have lost a 4-gate earlier, so I'm feeling a little bit want to be extra secure against that. And so I'm opting to get the earlier gateways before the Stargate. So you see I've already gotten a 2nd gateway now. Yeah. And I'm building. I didn't hear it's unusual. I almost never do this. I got a sentry before a stalker, which I would not advise. But I guess it makes you extra safe against a 4-gate because this way, that sentry is going to have its 2nd force field up much faster. And often your sentry has about 40 energy to get down that 2nd force field. So I'm sending the probe in to do a scout again, and I see that he's starting his 2nd gas. He hasn't built a 3rd or 4th gateway because I see all 3 of his pylons and there's no extra gates by them. So now I know it's not a 4-gate.
Oh,
and I see a late 2nd gas as well, so right now it's probably an expansion build. But you never know for sure. It still could be a 4-gate. With him, maybe I missed the 2 gateways. They were on the left of that top pylon or something like that.
I see.
But it's most likely it's an expansion build because he doesn't have the gas attack very well. And he doesn't have to spend his money.
Right. So, so catching that first probe isn't enough. Obviously, they could insist on 4-gating, but, you caught that probe early with the pylon, right? So,
yeah.
Got it.
So right here, I'm just, my Stargate's almost done. And I went up to 3 gateways first, which was probably overly safe. You don't really need to do that. But sometimes, you just want to be sure to get through the early game.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Did you know Menelaus before this game? Did you have an idea of how he plays, or?
No, I know of him, but I don't know anything about his play style. Besides, the thing I know about is he's a Korean Protoss.
Mm-hmm, right.
And Korean Protosses tend to 4-gate a lot.
Oh, that's true,
so
yeah.
That's what was on my mind. So here, my Stargate's a little late, so my scouts later. Usually have Phoenix scouts. And so I'm just taking the Nexus kind of blind here. And the idea is, if it's Dark Templar, I have my units on the ramp, so he won't be able to get up the ramp. I'll be able to force field him. I'll still be okay. And it can't be super fast Dark Templar because of the speed of his 2nd gas. And then if it's something like a 1-base blink, I can just sack the Nexus. And if he did expand, then this way I won't be hopelessly behind.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So now my Phoenix is coming here. I see he did expand. I'm like, uh-oh, it's already done. He's got probes there.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So that's not looking too great for me. And from here, my goal is, I can't really do an all-in build because I, already threw down the Nexus and I've started my Robo and things like that. I don't have enough, I haven't devoted enough to army to really try to do an attack.
Right.
So instead, I'm just going to counter Expo and try to use the Phoenix to equalize the economy a bit, both by scaring him. I have exact knowledge of what he's doing. He has no idea what I'm doing. So he has to be a little more careful about carrying out probes than I do.
And he pretty much has to stay in its base too, right? Because
Yep. The thing though, he did get a Twilight Council very fast. He played this extremely risky, and what that means is that he'll blink very fast, which both allows him to defend and allows him to threaten a very strong blink attack. If you see my Phoenix's eyes, I only see about 12 stalkers, but if you look at what I have, 12 stalkers at blink is gonna clobber me pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
So there's 2 approaches to this. If they have an Expo and the other Protoss goes a lot of blink stalkers with no observer, they can kill your Expo, but they can never kill your main.
Right.
So you're usually down to 2 options. One is either sacrifice the Expo and counter a Phoenix's, doing a ton of damage to try to equalize and maybe lose your Nexus. But if you pull your probes back and kill out of theirs, it can be okay. And the other is the one I'm off for this game because I was able to snag that probe he was saying to build a proxy pylon, and my Immortal's in good position. I'm just gonna try to defend his attack here. So I'm going to have to pull some probes here.
Right.
I might not have had to, but it's always better to pull them and lose a little bit of money than if you don't pull them, they blink on top of your immortal and they instantly kill it, and then you're kind of screwed. You have to have enough like bodies there so that they don't want to blink on your mortal.
Right.
Because you can try them with force fields, and then probes can actually kill stalkers pretty well if they get a good surround.
So I mean, so the fact that he didn't do any damage there at all, I mean, like, do you feel really good in this at this point? I mean, because you've got the immortals out now, so it's with the phoenixes, though it's pretty strong against blink, right?
Yeah, this is the dangerous part now is if he gets. The two dangerous things are, one, the charge Archon timing he could go into.
Oh, I see.
And another one is just, if he just goes for a big Colossi army and turtles and you're unable to damage the Phoenixes, sometimes that can be a little problematic if they have good upgrades. Because the upgrades, like Phoenixes are really good against Colossi, all things being equal, but it's very hard to keep up with them with air and ground upgrades when they're just getting ground ones. So the longer a game goes on, that's why I don't always keep massing Phoenixes, because they get a little bit, less useful as the upgrade difference starts to kick in.
Right, I see.
So I should be, I was trying to be a little careful where I asked, but I did want to get a scout and see exactly what he's doing. If it's charge at Archon, I would need to throw down a bunch of cannons. So that's why I'm going, flying around here, even though it's risky. I may end up losing some guys. I ended up losing one stuff. Looks like about to lose 2 Phoenixes here.
Right.
I was able to get, I think, about 5 probes for it. So that's still a bad trade. 2 Phoenixes are worth more than 5 probes.
Right.
But I also could see what he was doing. I saw, I saw he was still only on 4 gates, and I saw a good amount of stalkers. And so I'm thinking it's very unlikely he's going for a charge at Archon timing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether or not he's going for Colossus or for just a ton of blink stalkers. With maybe, I don't know, maybe he's making immortals. That wouldn't make any sense, though. I would make them.
So what comp are you going for right now? Like late game, you're headed in mid game. So what composition are you you're trying to strive for right now?
So right now I'm going for Phoenix DT in the mid game.
Oh wow, okay.
Just because my army right now is not that strong because I've invested all that money in Phoenixes.
Right.
So a good way to cover that up is to use them to snipe observers and get Dark Templar.
Ah, that's smart. Yeah.
That's my so I don't die around 120 food limit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mid game plan. And then also right now I have a lot of zealots, but I have no way to deal with force fields. So the DTs can turn to Archons and enable me to deal with force fields pretty well.
I see.
And the reason I'm making a lot of zealots is because they're the best unit against stalkers. Unless the stalkers are micring and things like that. But with the mortals and force fields and in larger scale fights, the zealots can usually be attacking something, especially if you get charge. Of course, I can't move on the middle map without charge, because I will get, torn apart by micro.
Right.
But that's why I'm getting charged now. I got my forge to get some upgrades. I'm getting 1 cannon just to help with, in case he goes for a bust. And also, it's always good to have a cannon in kind of the later mid-game PvP just to scout for DTs in case your observers aren't in the right spot or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So what's the timing on the third here?
The third, it's all reactive. I figure with investments I've done in DTs and charge and forge upgrades, as long as I take a third, slightly behind him, I'm fine. I don't need to be ahead in econ because I feel that my army composition is going to be stronger. And I'm going to send these Dark Temple around to scout, send the Phoenixes in behind him a bit. And I'm trying to tell exactly what army composition he's going for, what his upgrades are at, if he has a third, these type of things.
Right.
So I'm going to just send this Dark Temple up the ramp. I see Colossi and a ton of Stalkers.
And you found a third.
Trying to sneak one in there. So, that's a good move on his part. If it gets up, it pays off big time. And if it doesn't, he cancels it, only loses 100.
Right. Is it typical to kind of ninja one, though? Obviously he took the fourth instead of the third. Or
It's not uncommon.
Okay.
I'd say about half the time to take a third is going to be up high like that.
Okay. Cool.
So here I'm planning to take my third. When I see Colossi and I'm not on Colossi, I know I can reinforce my army better than he can because it's all on warp gates. And right now I'm stronger because Colossi don't really kick in until you approach the max army, as opposed to charge shots. And if I can fight into open, the charge shots can do very well.
I see.
So that's why I'm feeling comfortable taking my third and moving out and trying to, if he moves down, I'll get this giant, this open space below his ramp I could fight him in. Or the open space between my natural and third, I could engage him as well.
Right. So are you trying to bait him out somehow? Are you going to use your Phoenix to bait him a little bit, or are you...
That's part of the idea. You send a Phoenix one way and the army the other way,
right.
And he responds with not enough guys in one of the spots, then you can do damage enough. Or vice versa. The other thing I'm doing is I'm aware that a maxed army of Colossi can shred max gateway armies, so I'm preparing my counter to that by getting the mothership.
Nice.
That's a good, because Colossi want to find that tight ball where the Zealots, in order to attack that, they have to clump up and the Colossi can then get their full area of effect going.
Right.
And so this is a way to, if they clump up, you throw the Vortex on them, and it's really good. Also, the Fleet Beacon allows you to get, you see I'm getting my, I'm actually not even done with level 1 upgrade yet, but it allows me to keep upgrading the Phoenix attack so that they can scale with the Colossi armor.
I see.
I'm also continuing to make Phoenix. If you notice, I kind of stopped at 4, but then once I saw the Colossi, I started building a lot more.
Right. So are Phoenixes really good against Colossi? I actually never realized that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are. They do. A Phoenix does roughly the same damage as a Stalker to a Colossi. It's more expensive than a Stalker, but it's harder to kill than a Stalker. Can't be hit by most of your units. It's fast. It goes straight for the Colossi. So they're both, it's definitely a very good counter to Colossi, unless they're getting way out upgraded. And the other really important thing is you have to kill any Guardian Shields first, because that Guardian Shield hits Phoenix, gets rid of 40% of the damage, basically, which is huge against Armored.
Right.
So, but the first thing is, sometimes that can be hard, a big fight, but it's, it's pretty necessary. So here, I moved back once I wanted to fight earlier about 140 food, but now I want to avoid a fight. Now, I want to wait until I can get a Vortex up, and then have my engagement, because I'm nearing the point where Colossi get very strong in a straight-on engagement.
Right.
I'm also trying to run my upgrades.
This is going to be fun right here. I can already feel it. Oh.
So now, I've had these watchtowers. He's been playing super passively, so the response to a passive opponent is either try to find a hole in their defense, or play equally passive but invest more into late game. So you'll have a stronger late game.
I see.
So that's why I invested in the Mothership. I'm trying to, crank out my upgrades for both my ground and my air pretty well. And, I don't know, let me see what upgrades he has. I haven't been... Looks like he's at 1-1, and he's getting 2-2 right now. So we're about even in upgrades on ground, but then I also have these air upgrades that are going to help me out a bit.
Right.
And if we look to army size, I'm a little bit ahead in army size.
Any reason you went after like 2 attack versus shield? I mean, not shield, but armor.
Yeah, the attack's better than armor and mirror.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, just strictly better. So here, one thing I do, I'm gonna send a warp prism in, or usually that's what I do. So I was trying to find a good engagement. He didn't give me a good one. It was a bad angle for me.
Right.
But the units I kill, I can replace in his main now, and it's gonna really mess him up. Because I was maxed army, so I had to just lose a few units to be able to get this.
Right, just to feign that attack, yeah. That's smart.
And even the hard part about him is he's actually maxed right now, so he can't warp in as a response. He has to send
Oh,
units.
that's true. That's true. I
So
didn't
when
think
he
about that.
if he doesn't respond with the exact ratio of units, I can do a ton of damage.
Right. So obviously you vortex the Colossi, right?
Yeah. And then if you see I'm picking up Zealots because they die so fast, I actually should have been doing a better job picking up more units. I was a little bit slow there.
I see.
But, without the Colossi and...
Oh, that's so brutal. Oh my gosh.
When you neutralize the range advantage of Colossi have, they go down pretty quick. Especially to
Right.
Immortals, Cons out.
Right, it worked out. Man, the War Prism worked out so great because as you were losing supply, you were just opening it up for Zealots, and
Yep.
that's so nice. Wow.
So here on it's, after
Yeah.
a fight like that, he's in trouble. I can knock out his third and his fourth probably.
Yeah.
And you see ground army has my Phoenixes will kill. He actually did a nice attack here, it looks like, at my third.
Yeah, counter. Yep.
So I'm sending the Phoenix back to deal with that while my army, kills his third.
Of course.
Because the Phoenix obviously can't kill buildings too well.
Right.
So I'm rebuilding the Mothership. I did lose my War Prism. I probably should have pulled that back.
Oh, so you're going to continue building? Oh, you're going to build another mothership? Wow.
Yeah,
I guess-
they're...
I guess why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're so powerful that...
You've got the
I'm
resources
gonna get rid of some of
too.
these pylons that are being annoying. I should be sending my Phoenix to support my army. I don't know where they're at. Oh, they were just lollygagging up at the top. Oh, I might have been worried about him warping guys in by that last pylon, so I just wanted to put the Phoenix there.
Right.
It really would have been better for me to have them here. I would have not lost any of these units. Phoenix would have just killed all this stuff.
Right.
As it is, watch these Phoenix just kill everything
Jeez,
here.
exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna get rid of these Colossi, and then they're gonna even pick up all the Stalkers.
Yeah, 2-0 Phoenixes are pretty good. Wow.
Yeah. And the big thing that the Phoenixes are nice about is nothing kills Phoenixes that Protoss has.
That's
the
true.
Stalker without upgrades does like 6 2/3 CPS to them.
Oh
which
my
is-
god, it's nothing. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, well, Mass Stalkers beats Mass Phoenix. They don't beat them fast, right? It's kind of like Stalkers as Hellions, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You know, you can have 8 Stalkers and 4 Hellions will still run in and toast all your probes.
Yeah, just nothing has the DPS. That's true to really take them down fast. So I guess Archons would do okay. But
Yeah, Archons are the main thing.
yeah, the only thing that really does splash to them. So
But that's the other nice thing is, you know, like I said with my mid game plan, if they don't have Colossi around, you have a bunch of observers in Phoenix. You can just kill all their observers.
yep,
And
DTs.
I have these 5 DTs that are attacking unpowered gateway instead of his units, but
God, so true.
they'll get there eventually.
Right.
Some assimilators watching their Zealots die. And he leaves because he knows there's no way he can hold the top right base, and you know, he's broke. That was his last base. He's pretty much mined out.
Right. Dang, Phoenixes are good, man.
It's a pretty solid PvP. There's a couple weak timings in it. It's vulnerable, and you try to cover them with DTs.
Right, right. Yeah, I noticed. I mean, but that's that's really smart to use DT in that way though, because just like straight up meat-wise, you don't have it, so you're just pretty much gonna have to utilize something that's gonna catch you up, and that's perfect. Yeah, I like the combination of the Observer and Phoenix too. That's really cool. Just clearing out the basically their detection. That's cool.
So that's kind
Good
of a
stuff.
good game to show the transitions in PvP that you can do. You know, to transition to the mid game and you get into DTs, and in the late game getting the mothership and all the upgrades.
Yeah, you pretty much did a little bit of everything that game, man. You did War Prism. You did. I think you pretty much built everything except for Void Ray, maybe, or a Colossi. You didn't build a Colossi either, but did you build a Void Ray? No, you didn't.
No, I think
No,
Void Rays
yeah.
are actually. There's never a time when it's ever smart to build a Void Ray in PvP.
Yeah, that's probably true.
They're just like flying stalkers for twice the money. It's like
That's true. That's very true.
they lack the scouting and harassment of Phoenixes, and actually aren't any better in battles either for the most part. So
Cool. Okay, that's a great game to start off on. Good stuff, man. Oh, wait, somebody's saying. Oh, he said to make sure you tweet the stream as well.
I did that, I believe.
Okay. I definitely did, but obviously not many people watch me. So, okay. So let's see. What do we have next?
Let's do the PvT.
Okay,
maybe?
let's go PVT.
Alright, so that's 53927.
All right, artist. Fun.
This is probably also from Plan. That's where I usually run into most of the Koreans. I've been playing Korea Ladder a bit lately, but their names on Korea Ladder are all.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, right?
You have no idea who you're playing.
I don't know how people actually know. It's just like it all looks like.
Sometimes it's in English. There's a couple people.
Oh,
But
is it? Okay, I
Yeah.
see. So how is playing on the Korean for you? Oh, you guys have a fast connection there, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually probably a little bit. It's a little bit better than Europe, to be honest.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So we doing 4 minutes again?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
4 minutes seems good. Or maybe let's do 3:30 this time, because that's where the scout comes in, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep, I see him.
Alright, I'm almost there.
Okay, but before we start, we should probably go over some, I guess, kind of what you did last game too. Just kind of what you're really wary about in the early game against Terran.
Yeah. So here I'm going for Nexus first build. It's a build I use a lot against Terran. And the couple things you got to watch for is you want to know if the Terran's doing some 2-racks, Marina Civil, and in which case you got to just chrono out the belts like crazy and not even get a Psychor, not even mine gas, right?
Right.
And another thing to watch out for, are they doing an aggressive semi-tech build? Like is it Reactor Hellion happens a lot, a Reactor, then Tech Lab 2-racks.
Right.
There's also a common one.
I see.
And then another thing is to watch for, are they expanding fast themselves, in which case you just want to chrono out probes like crazy.
I see. Okay. And generally speaking, like what composition do you like against Terran? I mean, obviously it's reactive to a certain extent if they're going, kind of sheaves against you, or just a more aggressive build. But if you're talking kind of macro game, like what composition do you usually like? Just the
I'm a big fan of the Colossi.
The Colossi, okay.
Lately I've been mixing a little bit more Templar play, but up until recently I was just like, I don't want to have to micro too much. I'm just going to try to get a big macro advantage, get good upgrades, and just try to pick my battles in good spots and get a ton of charge shots and a lot of Colossi and try to set up the fights where that army composition is really great, which is mostly more wider open areas where the Zealots can all get in on them.
Right. I mean, those are the only two choices, right? It's either you go Colossi with Gateway or you go Templar with Gateway.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there's a lot of choices in how fast you get to that and what you do in it. But by the time Tyrion gets 6 to 8 medevacs, if you don't have AoE, you're in trouble.
Right. Right.
So it's, Templar, you can kind of get away with Archons, but one of those three.
Yeah.
And Archons don't last. Like, you can get away with Archons maybe to 140 food, but then once it starts getting up to like 160, 170, you need something else.
I see. Okay, well, why don't we just start this?
Yeah, I'm pausing. 3, 2, 1, unpause.
All right, here we go.
So right here, my scout probe did die, but I saw one barracks with a reactor beam built in it and the second barracks.
Right.
It's always worth suiciding a scout to get up the ramp, because the Marine's out there, but you can get up and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I got the second gateway, and I'm saving up some Chrono Boost. My Chrono Boost probes once more, though. Let's see here. Sometimes I do it anyway, or maybe I don't.
right. What's the how do you? Well, actually, it's double barrack. Never mind. Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
Yeah. So here, I'm setting out some probes. I'm scared he's going to try to bunker rush me.
Right.
If you let a bunker get up, you're generally screwed. Oh, I saved that probe. Oh!
Almost.
Never good.
So close.
And so here I'm just going to crank out a good number of zealots early on. I think the best way to handle the 2 racks is a 3 zealot 2 stalker composition, which if you chrono boost your gateways, you can have all that out by the time they hit. And then with that, you pull appropriate amount of probes depending on how many SCVs they pull. The important thing here is what I like to do is, a lot of people lose to these pushes because they have their zealot out in front of their nexus. And the Marines and Marauders run in, and they lose 1 or 2 zealots before the battle even starts, right?
Yeah.
So here I try to keep them at the ramp. If they run in and shoot the Nexus, well, that's not going to die in a second or two, right? It's gonna.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. Yeah.
Yeah, give me time to kind of prepare and engage with all my guys at full life at the right amount of time. So I should be chrono boosting my gateways here. I don't know why I'm not.
So what point do you rescout here?
It's basically probably about, if he didn't come in about 30 seconds, I would send out a probe. I don't want to send out units because, again, if he has concussive shell, he can get caught.
Right.
But just send out a probe to confirm it wasn't, he didn't cancel his barracks or do anything crazy to you. Mm-hmm. So there's SCV. So he's coming in for a bunker rush.
Yeah, this is high aggression here. Yeah.
8 SCV. So here I'm going to pull my probes. That kind of went the wrong way at first. The idea here is you just try to run the probes, get us around.
I see. So the probes are the wall, basically, and behind them. Okay, got it.
They're wall and kind of DPS, and the Zealots are the main DPS, but the probes actually do a decent amount too.
So you're okay with losing the majority of those probes there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I lost about 8 probes, but he pulled 8 SCVs, and they're all dead too. So
yeah, that's true. Yep,
bring up
that's true.
The units. How do you bring units lost?
Yeah, it's 9 to 8.
Yeah. So there you go. So, I mean, if he did that without any SCVs, I could have beaten the army without any probes.
I see.
It was 2 Marauders and 5 Marines. You can beat that with 2 Stalkers.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, you have a big lead in probe SCV wise.
Yeah, I was a little careless of my Stalkers though. I should have not ran the probes back as soon as I did.
I see.
If I kept them out and preserved my Stalker count, I wouldn't be forced to pull them now.
Right.
Because I'm stuck with only 1 unit, right? So I'm just kind of in a position where,
it's true.
Even though I have a worker lead, I may not for long because I have to use them to battle. So I'm just trying to stall to let my warp get kicking as much as possible.
Right.
I should be constantly chrono boosting those gateways to this point, or chrono boosting. Other option is chrono boost your nexuses and crank out a lot of probes, and then you can lose some. You'll be okay. So here, I had to pull
again.
probes.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I could have avoided if I just kept, if I had about 6, 7 gateway units right now instead of 3.
Right.
I wouldn't have had to pull them, and so it still worked out okay for me. I feel like I've got a worker lead here to me. So right now I'm up by 8 workers, but he has a meal, so it's...
I mean, can you tell based on just how many units he's built whether he's expanded or not, like in your head? Or
I always assume he's expanded. In fact, I actually would assume he already has a command center right about done at this point. And I would feel in this game that I'm losing.
I see.
But he actually looks like he threw his expansion quite a bit later than his standard for the 2 racks.
Yeah, exactly. He's only like just halfway done with it, so...
Yeah. So here I'm always torn between what to focus first, the Marauders and the Marines.
That's a good question, actually.
I'll tell you, but Marines do more DPS and die for how quickly they die, right?
Right.
But then, once you kill the Marauders, you can just micro against the Marines. So
you can kite Marines all day, right? Or with Stalkers?
Yeah, I mean when they're not right next to your nexus, you can't really kite them because they'll just kill your probes.
That's true. Yeah.
You can move back to hurt Stalker and spread damage out.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be attacking something. You'd rather have them attack a Stalker than a probe in general.
Right. And you're only building Stalker Zealot just because you just need the units, like, right now, right? Like,
yeah,
no
I never,
sentries or anything
I
like
probably
that.
added a second gas a little faster.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if I had a Guardian Shield in one of those battles, it might have been huge.
Right.
But this is a build I've refined more. I've been working on it more and more, and I would have added, I think, it would have been better to add a second gas.
I see.
So it's a little risky me to move out like that. If you had stim done, I could be in big trouble instead of just small trouble.
Yeah, you could have lost all those guys if you had stim done.
Yeah, that's why, like I said earlier, it's smarter to send a probe out.
I see.
A probe is fast, and losing a probe is not nearly that bad.
Yeah, it's expendable. Yep.
The last thing is, though, I saw that he was pulling a bunch of gates, and so I could on my warp gates. So this is a good game because this is actually one of the hardest problems most Protoss have.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is these type of just Terrans who are just relentless with their aggression.
This is where Protoss usually rage, man.
Yeah. So right here, if I can hit a good force field, that can be really key. And I just see what I'm doing with the probes. I'm mineral walking through.
Yep. Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't actually see that until you pointed that out. Cool.
Yeah. So that just helps them kind of get through the units a bit. And then once I could tell that I was going to win the battle, I ran them back because I know at this point I was going to win for sure. It was just I don't want to lose any more workers.
Right.
So this attack of is actually went fairly poorly, although I might have chased him a bit too far. We'll see.
Gosh, I didn't realize how much probes are used like in these fights. I mean, I usually think of it as desperation, but like you're actually using them actively all the time. So.
Well, if your opponent's not pulling SCVs, it's desperation. But every time I pull probes, it's because he sent a.
Oh, that's right. It's reactive to that. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I understand now. Okay.
So I'm trying to work out my gas counts. At this point, I feel like I can probably do some good damage to the counterattack because they just wiped out his army. I still have a decent amount of units.
Right.
And that's sometimes a mistake. We'll see. Especially the point when by now he has stim, and it's always hard to beat it. So, see that many units, I can be a little bit cautious. But one thing I've learned about watching Hux play, especially, is sometimes it's good to be bold with your units.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So now that's an army that's, this is the disadvantage being bold is that you run into armies that you can't quite handle. And the sentries especially, you can have a hard time escaping here. Especially because I bring in 3 more. My forces are a little better. I think I could have actually done decently there, but as it was.
Yeah, you didn't have enough DPS there, right? That's,
yeah. Losing 5 sentries is just horrendously bad, and that really cripples me because this is the point when he's got stim and combat shield, right? Mm-hmm. I need to start getting some response to bio because once it gets all its equipment on it, basic gateway units just don't cut it anymore. And so this is where I want to spend all my gas on tack, but unfortunately losing those 5 sentries means I got to rebuild some sentries as well.
Right. So is that the trigger? I mean, when you see that he's got combat shield and obviously stim, that's the trigger to go robo?
It's generally it means you're already you should have already been getting robo before then.
Oh, I see.
This game has been kind of a crazy game. That's a trigger that you really, really need to get robo.
Right.
But if he had some combat shield but the unit count's low, like this game we keep on trading units, so unit count's low, it's not as bad. But if they get up to about 30 bio units, and then you're totally screwed if you don't have AoE.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I mean, at this point, I'm not as screwed as I normally would be with having my tech relative to his. Then that's just because the difference in unit count.
Right. You were pretty far ahead economically. You still are. You're still really far ahead economically, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 20 more workers, although our econ's the same.
Right. Oh, is that true? Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh my god, you're right. Holy.
That's just how. Terran generally should have more econ than Protoss.
Oh no, your econ's a lot better. Yeah. Your income's way better.
It goes back and forth depending on when he throws on mules.
Yeah, true.
He was up at 1500 a second ago.
Mules can make up for 20 SCVs. That's just OP, bitch.
It's not, if you look at mules only effective about 4 workers. Right. But the thing is that it can mine on top of their guys.
I know, that's the thing, yeah. I mean, it's an addition, right? I mean, you increase your max with mules. That's just crazy.
What people don't realize, especially people who talk about Manernexes, is that you actually saturate super fast in StarCraft too. You saturate your minerals usually by the 5-minute mark your main's saturated, and by the 8-minute mark, if you didn't active first, both your bases are saturated unless you've been taking losses.
Right.
So it's, it happens real quick. And then you don't get more value for the extra workers. So here, I sent an observer and I sighted a bunch of bow units, and then I ran into a missile turret.
So talk to me about the Warp Prism. Or is it the same deal, trying to kind of get him to multitask a little bit, or
it's partly that, and it's also partly right now I'm scared. I saw he had a bunch of bow units. I'm like just starting Colossi in range. I don't have charge I haven't even started charge or blink. I just started 2-2. 1-1's not a big enough upgrade advantage to really win. And if he hits me with a big medevac army, I can't beat it with just slow zealots. So is he going to try to keep him in his base to buy me time to stack up?
Got it.
Right now in the production tab, I got 4 important upgrades going at once.
So was that decision more of a reactive decision, or like you kind of saw this coming like minutes ago?
Yeah, it was mostly that. I knew I would need to buy time, and I ended up sacrificing a third. It's better to sacrifice a third than die.
Yeah, of course. Well, of course.
So this is the point where if he might have been able to come in and do damage to Nexus, but he would have been coming in through a tight choke, which actually, even though I have Zealots, is bad for him, because it means it's easy for me to trap him with force fields.
Right, it only takes like 3 there, I think.
Yeah, and even without charge, you don't need it if you can trap him on. With Guardian Shield, Zealots, and upgrade advantage, I would do pretty well there. So here, one thing I did notice that I'm keeping on his upgrades. He's only 1-0 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm only 2.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep throwing those upgrades, and I figure, once I get charged up, my army's just going to be so much stronger than his.
So have you noticed the difference in the patch with the upgrades, or no?
No.
Okay.
It's not at all significant. I mean, because they take the same speed, 25 less money is...
inconsequential.
Yeah. The difference is mostly the shield upgrade's way cheaper, so late game. Oh, here, if it's Terran sister army in the middle and they get caught like this, it's just...
Right, they can't kite you, they're just toast like that. Oh my god.
Especially because, Terran Rally is, if you look, that was only half his army, right? His Viking and all his bio was... So that was kind of weird that he just put half his army on the middle map there, and I kind of jumped on it.
Right.
And now, I'm like, okay, maybe I could attack and kill him, but if he doesn't have a third, I'll just sit on this advantage. I know Terran typically mines out faster than Protoss.
Okay.
Just going to try to keep him to 2 bases here. I got my own third about to come up, and try to win these upgrades.
Cool.
So here it's going to be a pretty straightforward game from here.
Right.
He just went down my Warp Prism, but it did kind of buy me time to get this, get this army up. Because, after he killed that third, he was busy dealing with that while I was finishing up my upgrades, and instead he might have been able to do a lot more drops, a lot more he might have even gone in for the frontal attack, and if I trapped him with force fields, he could have, if he had enough medevacs, he could pick his guys up and drop them behind him and keep doing that.
Right. So talk to me about the control with the charge lots and the Colossi. I mean, it looks like you just have one group, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you always have to rein them in when they go running out, or do you...
No, generally, sometimes I rein them in, but usually I want them to push the bio back, and let the Stalkers kill the Vikings.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
If you kill the Vikings fast enough, even if your Zealots fly, you can trade in your Zealots for their Vikings, and, you'll kill a good amount of their bio, too, is always a good trade.
Right, as long as the Colossi are retained, it's all good, right? Yeah.
Yep. Generally what you should do, I don't always do this, is try to split up a group of maybe, once you have about 20 Zealots, then you can try to split up a group of 8 and set up a flank. One thing I do, even though I have one control group, you notice, I try to set up kind of a concave of units when I'm static. When I'm moving around, it's a little bit tricky, and I could actually get caught in a bad spot.
That's a good habit to always split your guys up. That's definitely
but you can do that with one control group as well. You don't need to have multiple control groups. Yeah. So here, I'm just trying to bait stim. So if he's gonna stim his whole army, I'll be like, okay, we'll just let you keep using up some of that medevac energy.
Right.
And I made him lift his thing, or lift his orbital. And I'm just kind of waiting for my 3-3 to finish up before I want to do a big engagement. But I'm still strong enough now. I feel that I would slam him in an open fight. But if he's gonna use a stim and I can back away, there's no reason to force the engagement.
Right.
So I should probably go back there and poke at him again.
Do you bother getting the shield upgrades after 3-3?
I've started to do it a lot more. I didn't used to, but lately I've been doing it. So this game, I don't know if I do or not. I may just feel that I want to pull them on units right now to because I feel this is the game any moment, or this is my
Yeah,
chance.
definitely. I mean, you're almost max, so it's
Yeah.
uh,
So I have my Temple Archives finished, and adding some Archons here can help a lot. They had a second layer behind his Zealots to help do damage, to kill Vikings fast, things like that.
right.
He does have a Ghost though, so that's kind of annoying.
Oh God,
And
yeah.
if he sims again, I'll just do that same thing where I just, I'll trade a Viking. I'm actually getting some of his Vikings too. I lost 4 Zealots there, which isn't good, but or like 3. But it's not too bad for in exchange for a stem, and now I have Blink, I can pick at him a bit. And now he's down to, I think, let's see how many Vikings he has. Where are we at? How do you get the army supply?
So it's in PvT, it's just basically constant dancing until you get the right position, right? I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah,
Okay, there
and
it
that's
is.
what I did is, I didn't like those chokes going to his thing, so I came up and I came back and hit up the ramp where my class could get good angles on his units.
Right.
And I could trap a lot of the units on top of the ramp. So even though those forces ended up backfiring for me in the end of the battle because they trapped my Zealots, but at that point my Zealots had already done their job by killing like 2/3 of his bio, right?
Right.
And the rest is pushback so the Stalkers could clear out the Vikings. And if you notice, the game ends at still 4 Colossi, so...
Yeah, so, like, let's look at the position at the very end.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go up that ramp, you continue in his natural, or do you, to bait him to come up and then you just basically just catch him right on the ramp, or?
Yeah, the idea is I'm trying to get him to come up the ramp
Yeah.
where he's in,
Right.
And then if he doesn't, I'll send a couple units to his natural. And I could even warp in more units to my third and send him,
Got it.
send him into his third while he's, kind of working him from both ends there.
Right, right. No, that was nice. I mean, you almost lost no units at the end there.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the Colossi and Stalkers just annihilating the Vikings.
Yeah, the
man.
Zealots didn't really do a great job that battle, but they didn't need to with the position I had
Right.
up on top of the hill.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the main thing was just letting the Colossi do their job. So Zealots sit there and get shot at. And with the upgrade difference, it's pretty
Right.
clear cut.
So for the most part, I mean, you were pretty much ahead there all that whole game after those 2 really aggressive attacks by him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of I was super far ahead until I threw away those 5 sentries with that kind of dumb attack.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And that was a mistake.
Right.
And I think that actually made it kind of even, except he was slow in upgrades, and then he didn't push home his medevac advantage. He had a time when he had medevacs, and I just had gateway units, and he didn't use that time to do more damage and just cancel a third.
I see. Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. That was... Whoa, what is that? I hear a waterfall. Is that me? Oh, that must be me. Shoot. Thought that waterfall was really loud on that map. Jeez. Okay, that was a good one. What do we have here? We have ZVP.
Yep.
Are you playing? Oh yeah, that's right. You have an alt. I remember Min's your alt. Oh no, Min, not Min. Sorry, not Min. But the yeah.
Gladiator. Yeah.
Yeah, Gladiator.
That's it's the Muslims all that county kind of threw him my way.
Oh, did he really? Cool.
Yeah. So it's always nice to get a free count.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got this one positive 4-minute mark. This is another one from Play-Am against, so I think this might have been like a 3rd place match against him.
Okay.
Very good player. He usually beats me, but, I got thrown as look who I beat replays.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start at 3 minutes actually on this.
Okay.
And then we can talk a little bit about this.
Okay, I'm almost there. Alright, I'm set up. Are you all
Yeah,
ready?
I'm set up, but let's talk about this matchup now. So obviously, on Temple, you pretty much always open gateway first, right?
Yeah, I used to do Forge Expos a lot more, but now I've gone back to either 1 gate or Stargate Expos.
Okay, I see. And is it a 1 gate? Okay, got it. 1 gate and Stargate. Got 1 gate. So 1 gate's not dangerous on this map. 1 gate
No,
Expo?
not if you do it. Not if you do it well.
Okay.
1 gate Expo you can do on every map.
I see. Wow. Even against Ling opening.
Yeah, the thing is dangerous too. If you let them get away with a hatch first, then you can be totally screwed because they can hit you with like 40 zerglings. But against anything that's not hatch first, if you defend your buildings well, you can hold anything.
Right.
It is if you make the littlest mistake, you can die. But and you've even seen it in the pro level. You've seen top pro die
Right.
doing this build. But if it wasn't like a sure thing to die to Zerg opens, you wouldn't see them do it.
Right.
So it's they do it because you can hold everything with it, but it is an unforgiving build. It's easy to make a mistake and lose doing it.
Okay.
So I don't always do it. I don't know if I usually either do that or a Stargate Expo.
I see. Okay, that's cool. So what comp's your ideal comp in this matchup?
Anything with a mothership late game.
Oh man, well yeah. So you're working towards the mothership, just right from the very beginning. I mean,
usually I operate under a couple premises. One, I try to get mothership, and two, I hope the Zerg never gets Bay Means late game. That's my two. That's my 2-point plan, and one of those points I have no control over. So it's probably why it's my worst matchup. But
right, I see.
Most Zergs don't get Bay Means. They just sit there and mass brood lords and get frustrated.
Oh gosh.
So
yeah. Then you just pretty much toilet them and they're over after that. Okay, let's get this started.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Pause.
All right, here we go.
So I scouted he went gas first, which is Koreans that build a lot more non-Koreans, but you see it around, especially on this map or Zelnaga. And then just kind of putting the probe to block deck. When they go gas first, you probably don't even need to, because they actually don't have money most of the time, but why not, put them down there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get the Zealot. I should add in a second gas as soon as I have 75 money. There we go. And then it's just going to be probably another chrono boost on the probe shortly. Maybe won't chrono boost the probe. I should be chrono boosting Nexus again, I think. Right now I'm running that probe away from his natural. Because I figured the Zergies are probably about to spawn, and if I can hide him somewhere, although unfortunately he's saw my probe.
Right.
But if you can hide him somewhere, you can sneak back in later for a good scout. So here it looks like I'm going for the very fast Stargate, even before my first gas is being spent on the Stargate.
I see.
So that usually indicates I want to get the expansion up super fast or something to that accord. It can be a little scary if they make like 8 Zerglings, because their second, your Stalker's last sentry's delayed.
Right.
So if they get like 8 Zerglings, you can be in trouble, but that's very rare, so I think it's not a huge gamble to take.
Are you fond of double Stargate?
Oh, I mean, obviously not one base. Off Forge Expo,
right.
I do it a decent amount. I like it on Shakuris and Antigua.
I see.
Maps where you can kind of harass the Expo or the third pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
You kind of a ledge you can use. Even if they get Hydras out, you can kind of use the ledge to poke at him.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if I open with the Stargate this early, I'd almost never add a second one, just because you can get so many units off one Stargate if you keep cranking them out.
Right. So are you pretty much going to go turtle toss this on this map? Because I mean that's usually what people do, right? I mean they pretty much just hunker in on this map.
Yeah. The tricky part's usually taking the fourth, the gold.
Right.
But if you can get that, you're in golden shape. Sometimes I try to do some. It's also a good map for like War Prism harassment.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Oh yeah. How often do you do that? Like the the Sase or the Sase kind of mineral line, or just it's just a meta game now, just at the ramp.
I almost never open it.
Okay.
I don't know. I see a lot of Protoss win doing that, but then they open muties automatically lose. You kind of have to do it off of Forge Expo as well, because where the build works. It's a good build. I do it sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like that works if the Zerg kind of. I feel it's almost like one of those things where it shouldn't work. It does a lot, but as people get better, it's like one of those things that really shouldn't work, and it's a big enough investment that it's really hard to take a third behind that unless you do a ton of damage.
Right.
So I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm a big fan of like later game War Prism usage, but those openings I mix them in, but I don't actually enjoy playing them too much.
Right.
So
Right.
it feels gimmicky to me.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Just stick a few roaches in your base and on the ramp, and it's defensible.
Yeah, you see coming in time that they can do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It works all the time at top level, but it's one of those things that still kind of mystifies me as to why it works as much as it does. So here he's doing some Zergling pressure.
Right.
Didn't make too much air units. I just made I made one void area to scout and one to help defend it in case he does pressure like this.
Right.
My Zealots were a little bit overextended. I should have kept them a little bit back further. I lost 2 of them where I really shouldn't have. But I still had it off fine with the void ray and the force field.
Yeah, that was really good positioning there. Wow.
Yes,
That looked like a lot of lanes there. So
yeah, I think, you know, I lost 2 Zealots, but he also lost like 14 Zergings or something. So that Zerging investment made it so I don't feel, even though my expansion's later, I don't feel I'm too far behind economically, and I can just kind of go for the, you know, just go for a macro game. I don't have to do any damage to him because he kind of did it to himself already.
Right.
And especially because I've gotten 4 kills with my Scouting Void Ray, which is kind of nice.
So when the Zerg scouts, you know, just one Stargate, you can, or just even Stargate opening, you can almost guarantee there's going to be some kind of lane counter, right? Just from like a pretty good Zerg. Like if you're a Protoss, you can pretty much guarantee something like that's going to happen, right?
It's a high probability, but a lot of Zergs just go for a fast third, and a lot of Queens instead. They don't invest in a Zerg. They try to take an economic lead.
Right. That's
so
true.
you'll see both. Here I'm going to throw up some cannons, or yeah, 2 cannons, because I see that he's not going to take a third anytime super soon. So I'm like, okay, you know, he doesn't have any more economy at this point because I'm almost at 2 saturated bases, right?
Right.
Pretty close. I'm not quite there. He could have a little more econ, but it can't be that much ahead of me. So now I just got to make sure I don't die at any timing while I'm trying to set up the rest of my army. And right now, I really want to know what he's doing. Is he going fast and faster? Is he go? It's obviously something on there by this point.
Mm-hmm.
But is it Infestor, Mutilus? Because it's just Speed Roach, Hydra? You know, I'm still totally in the dark right now. And so I have one Void Ray checking out to see if he's taking a third, and another one kind of in the middle to see if he's going to cross the map on me. And then, of course, I'm going to clear these rocks with my army, so I can take my third whenever I desire. And one thing I like to do here, my Robo's a little bit later than normal, but if you can get on an Observer, you can start killing some of the Creep Tumors as well with Observer and a Void Ray. And it's a pretty safe way to kill Creep Tumors. It's really nice.
Right. Nice.
So now I'm like, I haven't seen anything. I'm a little bit worried about what's going on. I'm going to poke this Void Ray in. But Queens come out from every single direction and
right.
tell to get out of there. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I won't see anything this time. But he's sending over here to scout me. I just go kill that. And at this point, I figure Muta's probably would have spawned already, so it's either Infestor or something else. So I figure Colossi aren't a bad bet.
Right.
If it does end up being Mutas at this point, Mutas I can still be fine making like 1 Colossi at no range and just then adding a whole bunch of Blink Stalkers.
Right. So I mean, this is good for Protoss to learn. I mean, basically, you've been using the Void Rays purely as for scouting like this whole game, right? I mean, there's never any intent to do that much damage, right?
Yeah, if he tries to take a really fast third and not much to shoot up,
yeah,
you know, they're there for that.
Sure.
Looks like he's going for a little Hydra attack. Mm-hmm. This attack, if you have to try to pick off a couple units at a time in force fields.
Yeah, force field just the anti. It's pretty much the antithesis of this attack.
Yep.
Can't do anything.
You have to be careful for is I don't want to leave my units stuck in front of that gateway where his Zerglings could surround them. I'd rather have them be able to pull back.
Oh, yeah, this opening, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to move up too high. I trapped some Hydras there, but I couldn't kill them all because to do so I would have had to kind of put my guys up in that corner by the ramp, and that would have been a bad move.
Right.
So, you know, here he looks weak. I probably could go out and smash that army. But it's you know, okay, I'm not going to kill the Zerglings, they can run away. I can move out and best get like 3 Hydra kills. But what if a whole bunch of Speed Roaches come in here? You know, it's not worth risking your whole army to maybe get a couple kills.
Right.
So there I should have the sentries more in the back. I lost about 2 that I shouldn't have lost. But overall, the trade has still gone definitely in my favor, I think, for how many Hydras I've killed.
Yeah, I mean, you still know he hasn't expanded. At least,
yep.
You think he hasn't. And,
it could be a proxy somewhere, but he doesn't have any of the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Oh, if I had one more force field, I could have nailed that.
Oh god, that would have been sick.
So that's where if I didn't lose those, but I still got a couple roaches, so. Someone's gonna crank out the Colossi. I'm probably gonna set up a third. I should be setting up a third. I have the money to do it. I don't know why I'm not. Okay, there we go. I got plenty of money. I should be warping in more guys too. Actually, yeah, my money's pretty fine considering I can warp in. So I've been doing a pretty good job to keep that down. So now I see he's backed up, killing these rocks. So I can send my army out now because I know, you know, doesn't have his whole army kind of waiting to jump me.
Right.
And I can just kind of see, you know, how far is it? There's creep this close, try to knock it back. There isn't creep that's super close. I still don't want to move on the middle of the map. This is the one reason why you see Turtle Toss so much on this map is because the middle is like Zerg playground.
Right.
There's the angles, it's so open that it's really hard to move out across the map unless if you're close air spawn, you can kind of hug the edge. But it's going to take you a long time to get around the map, hugging the edge, if they're cross map, and then of course you're wide open to counters the whole time. So
Right. I think a lot of people would get double robo here. Is there any reason just powering single?
yeah, I prefer to get upgrades first.
Okay.
You can't really afford to crank out upgrades and double robo.
I see.
So that's why I'm getting Twilight Council on that second forge right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this right now is the point where you would add that second robo. Sometimes I've been doing both, but it all depends on what your army wants to be. If they're using a lot more Zerglings, then you can add in a lot more Zealots in your army, and it'll still be good. And the double robo is good because you can use less gas in gateway units.
Right.
I'm a little bit worried about a drop here, so I was moving my guys back. He's just kind of moving around. He's killing all my observers with his overseer. And here I know my third was faster than his third/fourth, so I'm like, I figure I can just wait till I'm near max and just win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think just on the macro lead. I probably should wait for a blink and next set upgrades maybe.
Right.
Maybe one food. But I don't know if I do. I might just get impatient. Sometimes I get impatient just want to end the game.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the work count, I'm up by like 20 or something, or 14, and that's in a PvZ where... And the Zerg doesn't have a tech advantage either. He's on Roach Hydra, so...
Right. I mean, do you usually put a building block at the third ramp?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just bad game.
Okay. I was just curious. Just wasn't
sure. I really should. So now I'm putting gateways into third, but not at the ramp.
Right.
Kind of silly.
Oh, wow.
So this Roach counter of his is going to trigger on attack, because I know that...
You're not going to run back for this, yeah.
I wouldn't get there in time to save Nexus, and with this many units that he doesn't have in his army, there's no way I would lose the fight,
Right.
So try to run out some of those roaches. At this point, I know he's going to have to go for a base race.
Yeah, and you're okay with that, right?
As long as I can hold my main. That's the main thing.
Right, which could have been tough, actually, if he...
Yeah, if he
put them
reacts
together,
back.
yeah.
And the problem is I got supply cap because he killed all my pylons.
Right.
I really wanted to get a whole bunch of sentries and hope he doesn't have Thunder Claws, which he doesn't.
So what would be a scenario where you would come back, actually?
At this point, there isn't any,
Okay.
I mean, I have to, I'm basically out of the econ game, so I have to knock out all his stuff before I can come back.
Right.
Now, one thing I could do, especially since I blinked on my stalkers, I could just leave 14 stalkers to kill his bases and send the rest of my army back. That's actually probably the most ideal response.
Right.
Just not when you always think of it at the time. It's
It's just kind of like, oh man, let's just kill everything.
Yeah. The other risky thing is if you split your army up and send a portion of it back, and his army turns around and catches yours in the middle of this map, you don't want to divide your army up too much and let it get eaten up by piecemeal.
Right. That's true.
So you're going to try to just hold this ramp with, I should be able to keep force fielding a good amount.
Yes.
Actually, it looks like I'm out of force fields. It takes actually 6 to constantly force field a ramp. And I only have 4. So that was a mistake on my part. I should have warped in another sentry.
I see.
Unfortunately, I didn't. My cooldowns dropped now. I only have a couple warp gates because I lost a lot of mine, so that's why I've had a hard time keeping up with everything. So that was where, instead of making that void ray, I should have just gone for 6 sentries to play it extra safe.
Right.
But
Are you thinking hiding a pylon at this point, or getting a probe at it, or anything like that, or no?
Yeah, I want to get some of my probes out, but I figure my army will just...
Oh, okay, now you're coming back. Okay, got it.
So I've already killed enough. I sent some zealots to knock out that top left base.
Yeah, got it.
And I do want to try to get my probes out. I should have gotten probes out earlier, although I should have maybe gotten a war prism earlier.
You have 67 probes sitting right there. Yeah. That's awesome.
And that's because I anticipated losing those bases, so I'd move the probes out first.
Right, that's smart, yeah.
So there he was hoping to have an observer and he could burrow.
Right.
But I did, so he realized he was dead.
Good deal, good deal.
So that's just, mostly another kind of solid game holding off. A lot of people always question me when you open Stargate Expo, don't they just hide your bus and kill you every time?
Right.
So the key there is don't tech robo too fast. Because you need, one no-range Colossi or a Colossi halfway done is not going to help you versus that push. What's going to help you is having the force fields and the stalkers to just beat it with that.
Right, that makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah, because a low number of Hydras isn't a big deal.
And even if it's 16 Hydras, if you have 6 sentries and 12 stalkers, you can hold that fine, especially with the cannon.
Right, that's true.
Whereas if you have one, colossal, it just pops out, but it doesn't have range. It's not even that amazing either. So, and if it cuts in your sentry count too much, those are really what you need.
Right. Well, all right. Those were good, man. So, good replays. I like it. Let's. I'll tell you what. At this point, why don't we take a little break, get some water, bathroom kind of thing, and we'll try to get some games in right after this.
All right. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm gonna, I guess, take some questions. What's up? Hope everybody's enjoying EGAxslav. This is some good stuff, man. Definitely learning stuff. Hopefully all you Protoss and other folks are learning some good stuff. We gotta get some players from, so unfortunately a lot of guys that I was gonna have play him are kind of backing out here, and so any Master GM Terrans or Terrans or Toss out there? If so, come in the ChanmanV channel. I'd like to get EGAxslav just to kind of walk us through some games, like while he plays. Yeah, definitely, Musical. That'd be great. So yeah, for all you folks that haven't seen the show, I've started these shows where we're going to have some kind of coaches and just kind of just more popular and not so popular pros around the community, basically teaching the community how to play and kind of interacting, collaborating. I definitely will have some kind of dual coaching sessions where we'll have coaches collaborating over stuff and hopefully getting tips from each other. So that's definitely the point, is just to get a good collection of guys together and just learn about Starcraft. Let's see what we got here. Yep, Jacko is definitely somebody I'd like to get, for sure. For sure. Let me get...
Okay, I'm back.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to line up some guys. A lot of guys backed out that were going to play, so let me see if I can get some games. It'd be great to have you play a few games and kind of walk us through it.
Yeah.
Let me grab.
Do you want me to look for someone if you can't find anybody?
Yeah, that would be helpful. Let's see if I can.
I'm running some games right now.
Everybody's watching WCG right now. It's like, oh man, I totally forgot that was going on right now. So, oh well, it's all good. Okay, let me just see if I can get.
Fucking State looks like he's on.
Yeah, State would be great.
He's a great Protoss guy.
I'd actually like to have him on the show sometime too. That'd be good. Is State a young guy? No, I'm thinking of Illusion. Illusion's really young, right?
You're young compared to me, I figure.
How are you?
I'm 26, which is
Dude, you guys are youngin', man. You guys are young guys.
State's still in. I think State's like 20 though, something on that.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think it's Illusion that's really young, right? On that.
Alright, State says he's down.
Okay, let's do this. You want to start it up?
Sure. Any map in particular?
I don't know. Any map you think is kind of compelling to kind of walk us through.
Not Tyler Moulter.
Yeah. Oh God, Forgate City.
MLG Antigua.
Okay, that sounds good.
Alright, let me bring you both in the game.
And I'll try to line another race up while we're doing this.
And let me, throw in the link so we can see what's going on. And there is... If my mic ever goes crazy, sometimes it does that, just let me know and I'll have to like plug it in and stuff.
You and Bryce, man, have USB issues.
Yeah, these cases are a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I think it's because you have to jiggle the connection. I'm not sure what it is. I've tried different mics though, so I suspect it's the case.
Right.
Sure, making it's making connections on parts of the case it shouldn't be. It's giving all that feedback. Okay.
All right, let's do this.
He should probably go Protoss.
Off racing against you, that'd be pretty funny.
Terran is pretty good.
Yes.
Actually, I actually don't have too many problems with Terran like I used to.
Oh yeah. So PvZ is your worst?
Yeah, right now, definitely. Definitely PvZ. It's, what happens to me is I take most of my builds, the basic ideas from them, straight from Korea. And so my win rates reflect Korean win rates, which, Zerg's been kind of kicking Protoss for the last about 6 months or so.
Right, exactly.
Looks like we're all ready.
Okay, let's do it. I think you're host. Yeah, I think you're host.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's my win rates kind of fluctuate depending on if I whoever good Korean Protoss I see do a build, I'm like, hey, I like that, and then it kind of, because it gives me confidence, and confidence is actually really important in Starcraft, I think.
Right.
A lot of my problem lately is versus Terran. I don't do too much different than I used to, but I've been doing so much better versus Terran lately, just because I have the confidence. So I'm much more decisive in my games, and it's
right. I mean,
that's a really important factor.
That's all it's about, man. I mean, it's as much mental as it is, mechanical. So yeah, I mean, that's why people go on, ruts, and people go get really hot. It's.
Yep.
Okay, so talk me through Antigua. What do you usually like to do? I mean, what are some key things about Antigua that's unique about it?
On ladder, it has a couple unique factors. Mm-hmm. One is that it can take you a long time to scout your opponent. This is the MLG version, so it's cross-map only.
Right.
But on ladder, it's all 4 spawns, and if you scout the wrong direction, it's going to take you a long time. So all you do scout for pylon ladder. The other thing is that combine that, it might take you forever to scout them, so you don't know how they're opening, with the fact that on almost all positions, there's strong cannon rushes that happen right by the ramp, kind of.
Your mic's freaking out a little.
Let me,
Oh, it stopped, though. I think it's okay now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just move around, it fixed it.
Cool.
So yeah, just let me know if that happens. So there's a lot of strong cannon rushes, so that makes that a little bit scary. But on this version, you can scout them fast enough, you'll see the forge and just be able to throw out a whole bunch of probes. And the only cannon rushes work and catch you by surprise, which with the scouting time they often can.
Right.
The other feature of this is that there's a ramp to the expo, which makes expansion builds much stronger than on other maps. Because it is, it's much easier to hold your expansion because you have that ramp to help you kind of defend.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing is it's kind of a longer walking distance. So, one-base class has kind of been a dead build in the competitive scene for a long time anyway, but it would be certainly dead here.
What? Right. Wow, one-base class. I haven't seen that in a while. Jeez.
Yeah. You see a lot of class expos, but one-base just.
Yeah.
So he was trying to be annoying blocking my Psychor, and he got I actually slowed mine a bit anyway, so he's got a bit of a tech jump on me. But I do have a good amount of workers. I definitely want to make a Zealot. My rule is, I try to chrono probes once more than they do, and I figure I can still hold any attack even with that.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's doing a 3-stalker opening.
Do you ever get, it feels like, you definitely like to play the macro kind of more defensive game in the beginning. Do you ever break out some crazy one-base stuff on people?
Not too much. Actually, today on the European Plan tournament against Target Game 2, I did a Void Ray 4 gate on Shatter Temple.
Nice.
Although it's partly just out of. Sometimes I do it when I'm feeling less confident.
I see.
Throwing out some weird.
Don't we all, man?
Yeah, I actually ended up losing to 2-1. That was the only game I won.
Oh, I see.
Maybe I should have done it all the games.
Right. They probably don't expect it, you know? It's like...
Yeah. Well, especially when you do, his exact same opening that you saw on the replay that I did on Shattered.
Right.
But, and a lot of people, they know I do that a lot, so they kind of expect that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And hit him with the, all of a sudden you got it, I was able to sneak up high on Near's base too, it just makes it, a lot worse.
Right.
So here's the build I normally do in PvP, the 1-gate Stargate, and as long as you Chrono Boost your gateway, you can hold a 4-gate with this.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. I like it. Just a solid build because you get the scout out early, and it gives you a really good read on what your opponent's gonna be doing.
Right. So what are the key timings for scouting here? Because you see, what do you see right now? You see
nothing.
You see nothing. Yeah, exactly. So.
Well, see, he did get a second gas.
Right.
But you don't even know if he's mining or not, so it's
right.
It's tricky. The one thing to watch out for, as I was talking, I kind of forgot to. Yeah, forgot to move my guys. So that wasn't too great, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I lost.
Let's come up here again. I just lost the stalker, and he lost the stalker, I think. So.
So good.
Now what I want to do is I want to see if I can see if he's expanding. Because that could have been a 5-stalker push with an expo behind it.
Right.
Which it is not. Looks like it's not. So I could try to hide my Phoenix for a little bit longer, wait until 2. And wait until 2 means you can get 2 kills, which is always nice to kill some guys.
Oh, I see. It's just 2 left. Yeah, got it.
1 Phoenix can't do anything, but 2 Phoenix can do 2 things.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I kind of ran into him, which is never a good idea. It looks like he's going up to 4-gate. So I'm not going to go for 2 lists because I don't want to lose that guy.
Right. Don't want to be too greedy there.
Yeah. So right now it looks like it's going to be the Observer, Blink Stalker, 4-gate, which is the most common build at the top level right now.
Right.
And it's
I feel like I see that every single series here.
That's for good reason, though.
Yeah, it's strong. Especially on this map. It's really strong on this map, too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can sneak into base. Like I said, exo builds are popular here, so things that allow you to kind of sneak in or, circumvent that.
Right.
So here I'm going to send a Zealot out to bother that pylon. Nice thing here is and I'm going for Immortals to help defend. He's kind of forced to choose between, if he warps in guys, if he warps in 1 unit, I can kill, right?
Right.
Looks like he's on defensive. And if he warps in more than 1 unit, actually I can kill 2. I can just run back with the Phoenixes. So he's kind of stuck. If he wants to defend, he has to send his army out. And that's probably why it's not Scout Phoenix. So I'm keeping these Phoenix here as like a backstab.
Right, right. And that's usually enough to keep them there, right? I mean, that's really great. Just basically indirectly doing, like, basically, kind of an indirect strategy is pretty cool there.
The one thing that can be scary is sometimes without the Phoenixes, you're not strong enough to beat him. So if he blinks in your main, you're in trouble. But with adding commit 2 to Phoenixes, I got 3 warp gates, so I felt I could handle. If he was gonna blink up into my main, and he'd fight without his blink cooldown, I felt pretty confident I could handle it, even without that immortal.
But I mean, it's an all-in situation though. If he did that, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now I should probably keep an eye if he's expanding or not. And should expand myself. Even if I can't defend expansion, if he moves out, I can just sack it and counter with the Phoenixes. Although having 3 instead of 4 is actually a pretty big hit on your harassment potential.
Right.
I'm long this in mind a bit because I'm already saturated. So. And here the 2 options is 1 to go for that DT, like I did in the other game. But I had actually a bad experience against Gator at MLG Providence doing that. So lately I've been just going straight for Colossi from here. And if they want to go Colossi too, like if they don't go Colossi, I just turtle up. And I wait for that, like I said, at 200 food. Colossi just kind of wreck everything.
Right.
If they go Colossi, I kind of do the same thing. I just start getting more Phoenixes again. because
yeah, kind of like that replay, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Except I would have my own claw sight.
Right, instead of the DT kind of angle. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get 2 observers. One to go with the Phoenix and snipe his observers, and another one just to go with my army. So this is the way, you know, a lot of times I'll have an observer to keep an eye on when my Phoenixes are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tempted to send in the Phoenixes and try to kill some of those guys that ran out, but I don't know what's behind it. And I'd have to send my army out as well, which I'm not prepared to do at this point. I think it's too much of a risk.
Right.
Okay, so I could try to run down his observer, though. Because I know his army's at home now.
Right. So if you didn't see those stalkers in his mineral line, you wouldn't have made this. You wouldn't have made this move. Okay, got it.
Yeah, because this is suicide if he's out. But I'm just gonna try to
do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, just push him off. This makes him a little more nervous that I might be coming for him.
Right.
The other thing, though, is if he is going for those charged at Archon attacks, his observers are my natural, especially after he sees 4 gas like that. He might do something like that. I'm going to try to kill this observer real quick here. There we go. That's why I'm getting this forward, so I can, if I see that coming, I can try to spam a whole bunch of cannons, and that'll give me the defense I need.
I see.
And also allows me to invest in late game via upgrades. Okay, so he's only got 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit scary. I'm slightly worried. We're gonna just do a run by. He's going his own Colossi, it looks like, so I'm not worried anymore. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for Phoenixes. I'm gonna get the attack upgrade.
Okay.
And put this ride point back in the main. Get one cannon there. Yeah, it's kind of mean of him. I probably should have left like a prober's out there instead of a stalker. It's nice to have that vision, but nice also not to lose units.
Right, just the cheapest units possible, right?
So I might move my army out a bit. I'm pretty sure by the fact that he's going Colossi, he's going to be in a defensive position until he gets a good amount of Colossi count up. So now I'm going to switch my outpoints over to my 3rd. And I don't really want to take a 3rd unless he does, because
right.
I'm investing. Yeah, actually, I don't want to risk my army here. I think that's a little bit too brazen. Just because I feel like I'm going to be set up for a better late game than he is.
Right. I mean, from a straight up fight, I mean, the Phoenixes are definitely not stronger than what he could have, right? But having the flexibility to scout like you can scout like the entire game is worth the investment.
Shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking some losses here and there, but
yeah, you're still getting good information. I mean, the whole time. So
I'd say I might be slightly behind though from this, but the other nice thing is it set me up good for like a mothership late game, which is always fun. So I'm pretty soon. I was about to add the fleet beacon, but because I saw him take his 3rd, I was like, I'll take my 3rd first. Not my 3rd on that fleet beacon though. And we're just gonna keep him in this defensive position. He's doing a really good job of controlling the map with his stalkers, though.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I might be able to swoop him with my army and Phoenix at the same time and lift him up, and then, even though the Phoenix alone can't beat him, but if he tries to fight them, my army be right behind. But, I'm not really sure what the rest of his army is, and I don't want to force a fight at this point. And he knows that, right? So he's using that. This might be a little risky of him, though.
Yeah, because if he loses that, then you can actually get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So that was the thing.
Yeah, that wasn't very smart.
To go for that earlier. It's not too bad.
Yeah, that's 3. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. It adds up, but it's not too big. So I'm gonna put a cannon on my main just to help in case he goes for war prisms. He probably won't, based on. Actually, I should save up gas for the mothership instead of getting more Colossi right now.
Mm-hmm.
You notice I'm not going for a charge of Twilight or anything like that. I'm prioritizing the mothership because I think that's the
takes the longest.
And it's also I think the biggest impact. Some upgrades aren't quite as good as I'd like them to be, but right now I'm gonna add in my 2nd forge and my Twilight.
I definitely like the timing of all this. You definitely have a really good Yeah, I mean, like you said, the prioritizing of everything seems to be
Yeah,
really,
you're
really
trying to
good.
set up
I mean,
for when you get 200, you want to be in good shape.
The instant you hit 200, you're just rolling out. I mean, with that
Yep.
mothership, that's going to be perfect timing here.
And we're going to get some more Phoenixes, of course. And I should get another attack upgrade on him.
Right.
I would have charge before I move out. Charge is pretty big. And I should probably send... You know, I noticed I stopped scouting with the Phoenixes. I kind of felt like it got to the point where I don't really need to scout anymore. We've already committed ourselves to certain armies.
Right.
I'm still not positive exactly what his army is, but whatever it is, my army will be good against it.
Right. Is it pretty much always going to be like, you know, PvP just hammer on hammer here? Like, will you ever keep the Phoenixes over, like just basically sniping all of his probes while you engage? Like, basically, there's a huge engagement, or?
If he wasn't going Colossi, I'd say yeah.
Okay.
But
I see.
I'm pretty sure he's going Colossi, so even though I haven't seen any yet.
Right.
The other big thing about PvP where it often changes is if instead of going Phoenixes, if I was going Charge at Archon with mass bases and he was doing a Colossi Turtle, then it's the Charge at Archon's job to spread the fight out. It looks like he's getting a ton of Void Rays.
Oh boy.
That's alright though, I don't think Void Rays are that good.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, Phoenixes are pretty good against Void Rays, right? Yeah, they are.
And we're gonna warp in some more.
So why not back up to the mothership?
Cause I'm bad.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if you just didn't want to like put the mothership in peril or something. Right?
No. In fact, I might have actually got myself in trouble here.
Uh-oh.
The good news is, my rally, you know, I do have this strong, Colossi army, so once I can build up the Stalkers to beat his Void Rays, he's gonna be in trouble. Problem is, though, is he has so many Void Rays.
Yeah, he has a lot of Void Rays.
So this is one thing where I need to be a little more assertive in my scouting to fight about 8 more Stalkers in that fight. If you notice that fight, actually, he lost way more than I did.
Yeah.
But stuck with units that couldn't hit air. So at the end, my army was bigger, but it was just bad.
Yeah.
If I scouted him and got, 1 less Colossi and 8 more Stalkers, he would have lost that pretty poorly.
I see.
And actually, what I really would have been screwed at is if he got Phoenixes instead of Void Rays, I'd have been slammed super bad that battle. Because he had much more air than me. He had about 3 times the cost I did in air.
Right.
And if that was all in Phoenixes, that battle would have been a super landslide instead of... It looked fairly close.
Well, I mean, so is it about air domination then? And that...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if... You don't need to go for air domination, but if they already think they have air control, it's kind of like in TVT where one guy has some Vikings as air control, he starts making, like, Banshees, right? And another guy all of a sudden shows up with, like, 40 Vikings and he wins easily. Right. And that's kind of what happened there, is that I thought in air control, so I was investing all in Colossi Zealot. And then he showed up with, even though he made a bad decision in getting Void Rays, that he would have been way better off getting Phoenixes, that it was still the fact that he put so much into air, and I put so much into nothing that could hit air.
Right.
And that was just, I should have done a little bit better job scouting there.
I see. Wow, okay. Yeah, I don't usually see that that Void Ray versus Phoenix kind of dynamic there. So
Phoenixes have a moderate edge on Void Rays per cost,
right,
but not that big. But they do beat Void Rays by a little bit. Just not when it's 10 Phoenix versus 16 Void Ray. You would want about 25 Phoenix against 16 Void Ray.
Wow. Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Exactly the same cost in food. So
yeah, I mean once they get charged up, they're. Oh yeah, I guess it does work out to be the same food. Okay, cool. That's pretty interesting. Let's see, who can we... I still haven't been able to get anybody during all that. I was trying to get Bryce, but I think he's a little too too medicated at this point.
Yeah, he's...
Let's see. See if I can get anybody else here.
State's the only guy I have that is not in the game.
Oh, sorry, who?
State's the only guy I have that's not in the game right now.
Oh, I see. Let me see. Niter wants. Oh, Niter wants to play. Where's he at though? Oh, he's another toss though. I guess we can. Let's see. Is there another map we could play PvP on?
Yeah, and I could do a whole different build too if you wanted.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So, all right, we'll just do that.
Yeah, and then hopefully we can get somebody else afterwards.
So let's see. Let's do like Shakura's Plateau.
Okay, sounds good.
This is a really good map for expansion builds. So there's a lot of different ways to play expansion builds. There's risky and safe ones. A lot of people do like 1 or 2 gate expansions, which you're just hoping the opponent doesn't go straight blink or 4 gate.
Right.
And then there's on this map there's also 3 gate expansions, which are pretty safe because you've already you're expanding after a 4 gate would hit.
Right.
And if you play our cards, you can hold straight blink as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'll show. And then there's a lot of transitions out of 3 gate. Usually you want to add a robo pretty quick so you don't die IDTs. You can get Observer, see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You can get Immortals if it's blink. And then you can either go to Colossi or you can try to do the, some people do the strategy where you just get tons of blink stalkers, charge outs, archons. And if they go for Colossi, you take over the map with expansions and then use War Prisms and blink to spread out the battle to where Colossi aren't as effective anymore. I
see.
And the problem with finding a tuner for Colossi ball is that, Colossi has the same food as like 3 gateway units, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's way stronger.
Right.
So you have to spread out the fight and you keep picking at them.
I see.
And then you can replenish your units much faster than a Colossi player can.
Right. That's true. So is it typically a 3-base type of 3-base versus 3-base type of fight? I mean, it seems like the last 2 games that we've seen you play PvP now has been pretty much. Don't you?
That's how I do it. A lot of people actually. Sometimes I've used this myself. Is you stay at 2 bases, and the thing is, even to take a third. If you build too many probes, your tuner food army is weaker, and if you get slammed bad enough in the tuner food army versus tuner food army fight,
right?
It's who cares if you have a little more econ, but you're trading so poorly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So the 2 base, and you only take a third when your main's starting to run low, and then you just move guys from the main.
I see.
That's a pretty common, especially if they're going Colossi against the charge at Archon composition.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard for a Colossi player to take a third before they're maxed.
I see.
Just because it'll, on most maps anyway, it'll kind of spread them out a bit too far.
Right.
So with this build, sometimes you try to fake a 4 gate. I like to do this with 3 Chronos on Nexus, so it's not, they know I'm not doing a super hard 4 gate just by the Chrono Boost allocation.
Mm-hmm.
I can still thread in a moderate 4 gate. When MC used to 4 gate, he always did it off of slightly later using 3 Chronos on probes and the rest on Warp Gate.
Right.
So there's different flavors of it.
So when you see he's saving Chrono here, like, what are you thinking?
This looks like it definitely could be a 4 gate with him getting his L and saving Chrono. Or it could be a build just like mine. With PvP, it's something that's hard to tell. You just know he's not doing super fast tech. But what people do is a lot of times, as soon as they chase your probe out, then they'll go about their tech.
Yeah, they'll throw down everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or their gas. It's like their second gas, really, right?
Second gas now.
Yeah.
So it still could be a fake second gas. You never really know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
With this build, I'm definitely going to delay my second gas for a decent amount. And we're just going to try to hang out here. He did Chrono Boost his gateway, so it's almost for sure not 4 gate.
It's for sure not? Oh, because you just save it for the Cyber?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
he would just save it for the Cyber. It would be
Got
a
it.
slow 4 gate if it was. It would be the same speed as mine, and only me and MC do that, so.
Right.
So here I'm going to add in, one thing with this build, I am going to do like I'm going to get 3 gates pretty quickly. And I can try to fake a 4 gate with this. And if he's too greedy, I can even just kill him instead of expanding.
I see.
But the goal of this is going to be, I killed this probe. I'll send another probe out. Looks like if he's coming to me, we'll just wait here. And I'm going to throw a pylon on top of the ramp.
I am here in the shadows.
And so now we're going to head out and try to feign some
Pressure,
aggression.
yeah, pressure a little bit.
Gotta be a little bit careful if he went, you know, if he has a pylon behind me and I get kind of...
Probe's purely for tanking, right?
It's party for scouting. I might throw up some pylons to try to trick him.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we're gonna see.
I love the 4 or 5 units versus 4 or 5 units PvP action. That's always fun. That's always fun.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mineral walk the probe through his base. We're gonna send a zealot up.
Okay, and you're okay losing this Zeld, obviously.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that.
So it looks like he's doing a 4 gate. And there was something in my base a second ago. So you notice I warped in a bunch of
Here it is.
little wily guys. So here I'm gonna throw down another gateway. Normally I throw down a rowboat this time.
Right.
But I put him on a warp prism 4 gate, so we're just gonna try to defend up here.
So you're gonna keep that Nexus going?
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, you caught it in time, I think.
I don't want to send units too far out though.
Yeah.
You know, most of these sentries is not that good at a straight on engagement.
Right. An open area. Open area. That's not very good.
We're gonna run by to see if he expand or not. That stalker's he can't get back home anyway. That's what I figure. So if I know we're doing this 4 gate versus 4 gate thing, I'm really gonna focus on Zealot Sentry. Because that's what wins in this type of engagement.
Right.
I'm gonna put pylons around my main to try to make sure, you know, the Warp Prism can't sneak in too easily. And I'm just gonna, the stalker's not gonna see anything more, so I'm just gonna let it die in exchange for maybe see how many probe kills I can get. Oh my god.
I mean, he hasn't. You know, he obviously hasn't expanded. I mean, is 4 gate always one base, or? I mean, is it always going to be one base in PvP, or?
1 second.
Okay, sorry. Oh yeah, this is going to be tense right here.
So there we just try to, you know, he's kind of stuck into a bad spot.
Right.
Now I'm just gonna kill him. Now I can put my guys back mining gas. There we go.
So, you know, talk to us about putting all your probes on gas there when you were pulling them.
Yeah, so what happened is the Zelts were dropping. I wanted to get them out of the Zelts way quick and kind of towards where my stalkers were, so I just clicked on the gas so they wouldn't get past each other to Zealots.
Right.
The other thing I could have done would have been slightly better is to move them to natural. But it's just, you need a little extra work to move the screen there. And I figured I would clean up, my stalkers are already there, so I'd clean that up pretty quick and I can get them back to mining without too much of a problem.
I see. Okay, cool, yeah, that was...
My reaction was a little bit slow. I lost about 3 probes unnecessarily, but...
no, you helped.
The build was solid enough that it worked out, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're taking expansion and holding the 4 gate. That's pretty good. So it was a little bit later 4 gate, is that correct?
He did a War Prism 4 gate,
yeah.
Which is a build you're starting to see more now, because the regular 4 gate's kind of it's too easy to defend with force fields.
Sure, yeah.
So you're seeing that more. And actually, there's one time where I realized how strong this 3 gate exo build was MC played Inori in IPL3 on Crevasse. And MC just did a straight 4-gate, and Nori did this build and just held it. Perhaps he could take the backdoor expo, right? And then he just used, with good force fields, and then with 3 gates of... He only had 3 gates of warp, and he held it just fine, so...
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm still hacking people. Anybody else online? Your
let's
list?
see. Who we got here? Striker's AFK.
He was actually not. He was actually around, I think, before this.
Oh.
But
So he's been AFK for 27 minutes. Maybe right when he just started playing, he was...
Oh.
But he's gone now. Let's see. No, I don't have anyone.
All right, how about let's do this. I've got another toss, but how about we do something where you just do something just pretty something off the wall like for you.
Right.
Sound good?
All right. Yeah.
Here we go. Let me start it up. Yeah, I'd like to do something fun at the very end of these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's all right, what map do you think?
Zelnaga is always good for craziness.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
So usually Blink's the standard on this map.
Okay.
But
Like that's true, Blink. Do Kiwikaki Blink. Blink mothership. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. Militia Breath's not that great in PvP.
Yeah.
Considering Blink Stalkers is the standard, and that kinda...
That's true. That's really... I was thinking PvZ. Yeah, that's true. Alright, here we go.
There's a neat 2-gate Zelt cannon rush.
Okay.
I've seen once or twice before in this map. It's kind of like a fake build. It's kind of neat.
Alright. Don't lose, man.
Alright.
Alright, here we go.
So this is a neat one because it's you pretend to do normal build and you even show them the gas, and you proxy just on the second gate and the forge.
Ah. Oh wow, you proxied the second gate. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It looks normal, and the idea is it gets them to put down their side core, and if they're doing a build, some Protoss like they skip the first zealot, then you can come in really strong, really fast.
Right.
It's not. If they have really good stalker micro, it can be tough. But sometimes you can force up enough cannons that, you can't really macro too well once you get cannons up right in their face.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Kind of the whole idea behind it.
When the cannon's like basically shooting their buildings, it's kind of
Yeah, the important thing is to put cannon in the range of the pylon. It takes a while to kill a gateway, but if you can knock out their pylons, that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Unpowered gateway is as good as a non-gateway, so.
Yep.
The other thing a lot of people do, you can do a proxy in-base gateway on this map. It's kind of tricky. But a lot of times those can die to good probe control. And they get,
Oh, really?
Scout, yeah. But the thing is, Zealots lose to workers. If you think about a theoretical level, there's,
You can always pull. Yeah, you can always...
Yeah, I mean, workers are faster than Zealots, so they can always run the Zealots down and surround them.
Yeah.
Then,
Right.
their Zealots are melee and slower, so, theoretically, if you had an AI micro, you can be like 10 Zealots with 50 probes that lose a single one.
That's true.
Of course, no person could do that, but when it's like 1 or 2 Zealots, it's definitely feasible for a competitive player to...
How often do you hold micro? During
I usually don't. I attack them and then just right-click them back.
Just pull them back. Okay.
Yeah, I put them back on minerals. So here we're just going to throw the guys on gas here. Just to let him... We'll take one off and see if he notices. So then we're going to build the Stargate. Build the side core.
Oh, this is so nasty, man.
I really don't want to mine gas, but...
You gotta,
hopefully at this point, you gotta, try to pretend
You
to
gotta
build
sell it, though.
Yeah. So at this point, I definitely want to start printing out the Zealots. his Psychor is done. Once the Psychor finishes, I'm gonna cancel mine. And we're gonna throw down the pylon.
Well,
so we'll see how this works.
yeah, see how he handles this.
So unfortunately, my Zealot's got a little slower than I would like them to.
Right.
But
It's okay. I think you can still salvage this. Oh, maybe not. Shoot. Yeah, you can still salvage this. So what should he be doing right here?
pulling some probes to kill the cannons while the stalkers, kill the units. Because
Right.
he's gonna let this cannon get up here, which is not good for him. He's just throwing out pylons now because I think he's just a little bit confused. So always go for the, if you go for the pylon, the probes have to come out at you anyway, right?
Right.
There's no point running the mineral line and fighting probes on their own terms. You're always better off kinda. I'm just gonna go kill this now.
Yeah, it's pretty much over.
So I mean, I should not have been able to win this, I don't think.
After, after losing that pylon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it a little bit too close, and I should have gone to gateway a little bit earlier and Chrome was at the first zealot, and that way the first zealot would have gotten there a little bit faster.
Right. And then you wouldn't have been pushed down the ramp, right?
Yeah, exactly. But at this point, once you get a bunch of guys that are in range of his,
Buildings, it's over.
yeah, he's in trouble here. So we're just gonna keep throwing down more and more of these.
Oh man, that alias is gonna hate me for this.
It's kind of a fun build, though.
Yeah, it is.
Not quite as refined as it could be, but it's always. When I'm doing something cheesy, I like to make it a little bit more, psychological. Try to fake him out a bit or something.
Right. No, I mean that's just as just as effective as a really tight build. It's just
Yeah.
I mean a tight build that's been scouted, it doesn't matter, right?
Yep.
Let's Strife Crow's around now. I think. Maybe we have
he's
time for one
here.
more game.
Should I ask him?
Yeah, that'd be nice. One last game, and then after this, guys, we're going to do some Q&A if you don't mind, Nick, if that's okay.
Not at all.
Do some Q&A, so we have some questions ready for EGAxslav after this.
So what map should we do against him?
Let's do metal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kong.
Alright, see if he's ready.
They're good. The Chinese are good, man.
Now what's weird, there was that big tournament in China, and all the Chinese players got trashed.
They
by
did,
the
yeah.
lower end. And the people playing on the Chinese ladder came back and said that the Chinese ladder is just really non-competitive. It's like...
Huh.
But then, apparently WCG, they've all shown out in force, so I don't know.
Maybe they had a huge impact that last, obviously the tournament
Yeah, it could be. They were,
won. Yeah.
they got pretty humiliated the last tournament they had on their own home soil, so that might have motivated them to, dig in and
Exactly.
work harder. I know Warcraft 3 is much bigger right now in China still, so...
I don't get that, but yeah, it is. It's still huge. I mean, it's still an event at WCG, so I mean, a major event. So it's I don't get it. I don't get why it's so slow to transition over to StarCraft 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Korea they still like SC1, so...
I know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
They're both good games, it's just...
They are, but it's production quality, you know what I mean? And I feel like production quality is not even close. But
So here I could do the 1-gate expo. I like that a lot. I usually, whenever you 1-gate expo, you pretty much have to follow the fast Stargate because that's the only way you can hold roaches. Unless you're to make like blind, like 10 cannons or something retarded, right?
Right.
Just because you don't have the gateway unit count to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Stargate's pretty much the most flexible opening. Would you agree? I mean, against Zerg, because
Definitely.
I mean, you definitely put it in their minds that you could go double Stargate, right? And that's definitely, I feel like that definitely gives you a lot of flexibility.
It doesn't lack quite the same auto win chance at other openings like DT or that the War Prism Russians, Unanawa and White Rod do.
Yeah.
Both those, they're not a full commitment either. They're 2 with 4 gates, but they have the potential to do like insane damage. Whereas every once in a while you'll have a Stargate opening, you'll just accidentally kill them with the harass.
Right.
Just keep killing shit, and eventually like their hatchery dies. You're like, oh well. That's so rare nowadays that Zergs, because Zergs have so much more experience. I don't think it's necessarily like. I think that'll be the way that those War Prism harass openings will probably be the same. Once Zergs get a little more experience against them. But right now, for when Stargate openings first came around, Zergs were dying just flat out to them.
Right.
Nowadays, you almost never see that. And
yeah, I mean, it's not so much about just you holding the third for sure, just with the void raid, the single or double void raids, but it's more about just it's really just mind games, like any kind of like hesitation that Zerg has, you might not build as many drones, you know what I mean? You might build an extra spore or an extra queen when you shouldn't, and I don't know. I've always felt like, that was that's one of the best openings for TOS. The War Prism, people figure that out. I mean, it's not that hard actually. They can do their normal early third roach build and still hold that War Prism.
Yeah. So here we're gonna see what he's doing. He took his guys off gas, which is nice to know.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit, he never tried to take his natural. Sometimes he just figures I'm gonna block it, so he doesn't try. And other times he could have taken the gold. So on my way back home, I'm just gonna run by the gold real quick.
Right.
Make sure he's not doing anything funny. There's no, he wouldn't take a hatchery in some other proxy location. That way he's losing the creep connection and the longer drone transfer with no benefit. So if it's going to be somewhere other than the natural, it's going to be the gold.
What's your reaction to a gold base?
I just play normal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's that much you...
You definitely don't want to go gateway pressure, because they can cut drones and still have a really good econ because of the gold. So, the whole gateway pressure is that they don't have as many units because they have less money with less drones, things like that. But with the gold, they're thinking of gateway pressure, so they're usually getting units earlier.
Right.
It takes estimate drones to saturate it, so that's the worst option. I like air. Air's nice because it's harder to connect their creep. So the queens, have a hard time grouping up. And even if they do connect a creep, you can harass from the back of the gold.
I see, right.
So here one thing that's important is keep the sentries back. The reason why that's important is because, well, you don't know how many Zergings are out there. So you want to send that Zell to chase them away, but you don't want to expose your sentries.
Mm-hmm.
If you had like 16 Zergings there, just cancel the Nexus, lose the Zealot. And it's not like I'm screwed because that means he doesn't have very many drones, so.
Right. No, you'd be in great shape. You still probably have like a 4 or 5 drone probe lead, yeah.
So now I see as soon as I pull that gateway, move my units a little bit closer. Just because, I can.
Right.
They're protected now. And then as I get more and more buildings up, I'll keep doing that more and more.
What do you think about mutas in this matchup?
They're really good. They're scary.
Yeah.
The Koreans always do muta transitions nowadays, pretty much. Pring Korea ladder, if it's not a 2-base all-in, it's mutas.
I see.
It's really, really standard now. They don't go straight muta though. It's like, they'll open like 6 Hydra and then go muta, or they'll, they do it a little bit slyly.
Right. It's a little bit later. Yeah. Got it. Open Roach a little bit and then go muta or something like that.
Yeah. If they go 3-base, it'll be Roach. Sometimes they just go straight 2-base Hydra though. If it's like, if you do a build like this, they don't take it faster because they're not sure what's going on.
Right.
So here I'm going to send my Voider to the gold in the third. Just try to keep an eye out on those. I'm going to get a second one too. And the second one I'm going to rally just right back to my right back to the front of my natural. And I'm going to put a pylon behind these minerals to block them off, just so Zergians can't be quite as mobile.
Right.
It's always nice to shut them down. I'm going to start throwing down the forge here as well.
No run-bys allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't have the gold, so we're going to check the third. I'm adding the robo now. I'm kind of letting my gateways go idle right now, just because I don't know exactly what to do.
I mean,
So now I'm gonna rally. I'm gonna build a Phoenix now. If I see him taking a third like this, I'm gonna charge up on his hatchery now and go for the Spore Crawler. And the Phoenix will be nice because if he's careless with the Queen, it'll net me that kill.
right.
I'm even gonna get another Phoenix.
Teleport successful.
So what? Why another Phoenix?
Just so I can do more damage here.
Okay.
Although he's getting enough Spore Crawlers, it might be a little bit tricky. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'll ask you in a second.
Yeah. That one kind of poorly. So he was really on top of moving all his queens around, which is good. Good for him.
Right.
Not good for me. So at this point, I'm going to grab these two Phoenixes. What the heck? Oh, my rally point got screwed up.
Was that overinvestment in his standpoint for defense
No,
stuff? Okay.
not at all. Getting a third this fast against a person, getting a third before layer against a non-Forge Expo puts a Zerg like light years ahead generally.
Yeah.
So he's in a really good position this game. So I need to try to take a counter third. I got to be careful about roaches though. So I'm going to try to see exactly what he's doing. So now I think I've hit my saturation point, so I should have been on top of that.
Right.
I'm just trying to really figure out what units he's going, because he hasn't given me anything to work with yet. I'm going to throw down a support bay. It's always when in doubt.
Can never go wrong with the support bay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm suspecting either Infestors or Mutas at this point. Either of which would kind of screw me. It looks like Mutas. I saw a small build and I couldn't click on it in time, but...
So you going TC here, or Twilight?
No, I'm just gonna start cranking out. You know, I wanna get this third up. So I'm just gonna start cranking out Phoenixes like a maniac.
Right.
I'm gonna try not to let him know about it though. If I can just show these two. I'm also probably gonna throw down another, you know, photon cannon mineral lines. Just it's a good habit to do.
Right.
And then when I want more gateways, I'm gonna end up rolling in that third on the other side.
I see.
But at this point, I don't want to, you know, spend the money on the wall because I want to
You need it for a few minutes right now. Yeah.
start doing it pretty soon though.
Ah, it's a run by.
That's always annoying. Oops. So I don't think I lost too much there.
No?
And I did catch me just by surprise.
Well,
So now, oh shit.
you lost quite a bit.
Fine.
Yeah.
I didn't lose much at first, and then all of a sudden I just wasn't even paying attention once into main.
Yeah.
Actually really terrible. So I was very fast and not losing any of my natural. And for some reason I just assumed he was in my natural the whole time. That was kind of poorly done. I think I kind of got to go on a counter now. That's
Right.
probably crippling enough that,
Yeah, you went from 16 to 32 there, so probes lost. So yeah, you wouldn't have been nearly as wouldn't have been in that bad a shape. Takes a gold.
yeah, it's a good move on his part. I mean, he's going to have to cancel it, but why not try, right?
Right. How are you feeling in a Ling Muta straight up fight right here?
I'll probably lose, but
right?
I don't think I have a choice.
You have to, though, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, standard base race here.
Yeah, I'm gonna set my Phoenixes back. I think base race is actually a very poor choice on his part.
Yeah, he seems to be way ahead, so it'd be...
Yeah, I mean, he could end up losing a game here that he doesn't want to lose. So I'm gonna cancel these,
Oh, force fed that, yeah.
I think he has enough meters to beat me, though.
Yeah, he does.
So now then we try to grab some probes out. He's throwing out a lot of hatcheries here. So I tried to run him to where the
Yeah, I don't know if...
cannon was, so I could fight by that, but I still ended up getting kind of crushed.
Right.
I should have been a little more on top of force field in that ramp.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the mutas alone are going to cloud me here, so... Got a lot of them.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it was just that one run by.
That run by ended it, but he had it pretty much won before then, I think. You know, he was on 6 gas and he was going to mute us, and, you know, that would let him build up that critical amount. And I could...
Right.
There's really, once against mutas, typically you need to kill the Zerg before they get past about 14, unless you're way ahead in Econ or something ridiculous.
I mean, that's the thing now, right? People aren't really going straight muta, right? I mean, the whole counter is straight muta, 6K, right? Or just a gateway push, right? I mean...
It depends on the map. I mean, they can build spawns.
Yeah.
But, I mean, normally if they're on 2 base, they can't get enough to be that scary anyway.
Right, right.
So yeah, he went. You know, he took a really fast third. He just hoped I didn't do any Zeld aggression because he totally skipped roaches. He just cut. You know, this is a build. Nurture and Stefano both do a lot too. They mix it in there in their play because it's really scary. If you don't do, you know, if you open air into a charge attack, which is a pretty common build, you see a lot of the Koreans do it, then they automatically lose.
Right.
But if you don't do that, if you open air and then go into anything else, then they automatically win. So it's a pretty popular build for that reason. You get a lot of easy wins off it.
Right,
And
it's kind of a dice roll there. Let's see. But you get a straight win though. I mean, it's like a auto win though, right? I got it.
It's a pretty good dice roll.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. I mean, it's,
some Zergs use it. A lot of ones don't. Depends how confident they are in their CVP.
I see. Well, okay. I think we'll just take some questions now.
Sure.
Let's see. Let me get on my stream. All right, guys. Ask questions in the stream chat, and we'll have EGAxslav. You want to get on the... Are you on here? Shoot, let me see.
I'm not on the stream right now.
Okay.
I can jump on though.
Yeah, let's get you on here. So, questions, guys. Questions. I think my chat's been frozen. My Twitch chat, like it just freezes, and then like until I start typing stuff in it, and then it starts working again. It's kind of weird.
Okay, so looked at this one question by Elif Not. Should I do that one?
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Alright, so I think, you know, the 2 base Blink Stalker all in. Definitely the best way to beat that is Roach and Faster. Or if you have Mutas out, just use Mutas certain counterattacks. But if you get Roaches and Infestors, which you can get out in time to stop. By the time to get Blink Stalkers off 2 base, you can usually have both those. If you were aiming for them, you're gonna slam it hard. Either one. If you went, you know, 2 base and faster, well, anything within faster clubs, Blink Stalker. So that should be your goal. If you open the 3rd base and your lair tech late, you won't be able to get them in time. You just want to add in a ton of, you know, you want to go up to 5 hatches real fast. So you have a good amount of speed orches and a ton of speedlings as well. With the melee attack upgrades. on to feelings.
All right.
Fave PvP cheese. I don't really like cheesing too much in PvP because I feel it's my strongest matchup.
Favorite?
DT Rush in both of those, maybe. I kind of throw in DT Rushes sometimes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Although I like a lot of, against Zerg, I do a lot of 2-base, gateway all-in builds, 6 and 8 gates.
Right.
Those are pretty nice.
Any tips for mastering your Phoenix play in PvP?
It's really got to be on top of your multitasking with the scouting. And, when in doubt, just get Immortals and Stalkers to add into your army. It's kind of, but, it's really it's all about reaction. So it's not, it's not a combat style PvP because it is pretty hard to play.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to do a show just purely on, mechanics and control. Just people talking about it. All right. Let's see. Can you defend a 4-gate off 1-gate Stargate? Or do you have
can.
Or do you have to modify your build based on scouting? Oh, okay.
You don't. You can defend it. I can. Let me throw in a replay.
I mean, in general, do you feel like in PvP, when you're coming up, when you go into a game, right, and you pretty much have a comp in mind, a build and a composition in mind. I mean, for you in general, I mean, do you feel like you just go with the composition build that covers the most, is basically going to, work well against most builds, or are you opening with something that's just as flexible enough to alter, go, imagine it being like a tree branch, with different builds being the branches. Are you opening with something just flexible enough to do that, or do you feel like you're picking one build that's just going to cover the most things?
It depends on the matchup. Like PvP, I just don't want to die, and I figure I'll win if I don't die to some hard counter.
Right.
So I play a very versatile build there, and in PvZ I tend to just try to do a build that might get a free win a lot of times, and then hope for the best. So it also depends who I'm playing and my opponent and how confident I feel against them. But it's really do you want to, how much of a dice roll do you want to throw in your build, and the stronger opponent you're playing or less confident you are, the more you're willing to gamble, but to try to get an easier win.
I see. Let's see. How about this? So if you're going to choose a single build for a beginner to use for all 3 races, what would it be?
One build in all 3 matchups?
Yeah, I think that's what he's asking. Just
okay.
For a beginner.
3-gate expansion followed by a robo.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's going to be the most standard of standard there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mothership. Only way to beat Broodlord Infestor?
Yeah, unless the Zergs. Unless you're way ahead of the Zerg. It's the only way that's remotely cost efficient. Stalkers can handle Broodlords, but not once they get to a certain amount. Not if the Zerg fungos well. And you're always going to be losing more money than them. Same thing with Void Rays, right? Void Rays can work if they botched Infestors, or they only have 2 Infestors and pure Broods, no Corruptors, things like that.
Right. What are your thoughts on base trade scenario with, when they go Broods, just totally avoiding them?
That's the other option. If you don't have a Mothership, you have to do that pretty much. And that's really viable on Tal'Dorei Molter.
Right.
The problem with that is usually when you're doing a Broodlords, you're going to have about 20 to 30 spawns, and so you can knock out their peripheral bases, but it's going to be really hard to bust their actual, their first 3 bases will be spawned up like crazy.
Right.
If they don't get any spawns, just throw Zealots everywhere and you'll win easy.
Right.
But for the most part, a Zerg should have a lot of spawns that are doing that build, and it's going to be a little bit hard to base race. You still, that's your best option if you don't have the Mothership.
Yeah.
You just race and you hide 4 Stargates somewhere in the map, and then if you kill their Infestation Pin, their Spire, and then pick off all their anti-air, and then even 1 Void Ray will clear out all the Broodlords. That's typically what you go for in those situations.
Yeah, that totally.
And that works, the Zergs get careless with their Infestors in those base races. So you can sneak in and just suicide some units just to clear out the Infestors, even though you're not going to fight, but clear those out, and then meanwhile you got some proxy 6 Void Rays hiding in the corner of the map you unleash.
Right. It's amazing, like how fast like 15 broodlords died to like a 6 void race. God, it's crazy.
Even if they died slow, I mean, it doesn't really matter. They can't shoot back.
Exactly. But okay, how about 5 more questions?
Yeah.
All right, is my thing not working? Okay, here we go. 5 more, guys. Come on, surely y'all have questions for EGAxslav. This guy's one of the best tosses in North America for sure. Any plans to go to Korea?
I mean, I'd love to, be covered, but yeah, I don't think that's in the books anytime soon.
Yeah.
We'll see. Though.
There we go. Here's a good question. How do we sign up for EGAxslav lessons? That's what we're talking about.
All right. I just do those through email, so I'm gonna type that in the chat.
Cool. Oh boy.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
I mean, that's what I do on my stream too. I just always so through nickranich@gmail.com, and if someone says they're interested, I just respond and give them kind of details on how lessons break down and everything goes through with that.
Right.
Non-cheesy builds in Tal'Dorei and PvP. There's no such thing as a cheesy build in Tal'Dorei and PvP.
It's called
Forgate isn't cheesy. That's not cheesy. That's
I know.
Yeah, cheesy implies that for a build to be cheesy, I think it has to have some aspect where if they are playing with a map pack or they scout it, you're in trouble. And you're like that's kind of to me what cheesy means, that you're trying to catch them by surprise for an easy win, right?
Right. Totally.
And Forgate is not like that. Like 90% of the time I know they're going to Forgate, so I already know they're going to do it. All right, but it's not. It's just the standard build.
It's and the map's made for it. I mean, how can you not do it? Yeah.
Same thing with Belshire Beach. It's the exact same thing as that.
No.
It's the same opening, no ramp.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Let's find some good ones here. What's the best response? Yeah. Oh god, the Viper. Jeez. Do you think Neuroparasite's still viable upgrade in ZVP?
Yeah, it's really good. I'm using an Ultra Spaning combination late game. If you can Neural Archons and Immortals, is huge. So it's much more situational. Before it's like anything that's over 2 food, just Neural it. Whereas now it's bad against Colossi unless you can get some ridiculous flank on or something. But it's mostly just that they are having Mortal Archons that giving you problems.
Right.
And they don't have Colossi in their army or things like that. Which a lot of people go for that, the Mortal Storm combination, and it's really good.
Right. So, okay, when do you ever make the transition to High Templars?
That's a pretty big question.
Yeah, let's pick a matchup.
Let's just say whenever I have 3 or 4 Colossi, it's a good idea to start adding them in.
Okay. But you always prefer Colossi to High Templar in, like, PvT or...
Yeah, I always get Colossi first. PvZ, I sometimes go both ways.
Right.
But
Right.
PvT and PvP, always Colossi first. PvP, I almost never even get Templar anyway, just Archons.
Alright, late game TVP, when the Terran starts massing ghosts, is there any way to deal with that?
Well, you definitely have to start putting cannons at random spots on the map for detection, because observers just die instantly to scan Vikings. So start spraying cannons around and then a ton of Colossi, and keep the Templar behind a Colossi. It's tough though, but that's the best way to do it.
Right.
Most Terrans clump all their ghosts, so the Colossi can really do a good job on it.
Right. Alright, last question. Does mech suck as bad as Jeff says?
I don't think so.
It's pretty.
I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's definitely viable, right? I mean,
there's a ton of new builds coming out of Korea for TVP that are biomech combinations.
Oh god, please, something different. Jeez.
Those are actually really scary. Where it's like they're not even. It's something they just have their bio army, but they add in like 4 Thors to smash force fields and just to have good DPS, and then they add in some like Banshees too. And then with observer sniping, between observer sniping and then the cloak Banshees, and Banshees do more DPS than Vikings.
Banshees I can see totally being
so they can use it
integrated.
to really control the Colossi count really well, because for one, you have to build a lot of observers, and then 2, they just kill Colossi. So
right, exactly.
It's an alternative method. and you're seeing it, mixed in Thor's Banshees with the Bi-Army, or even MVP was doing a lot of builds where he, won an XCC into Marine Tank, and then by when AoE comes out, he had a lot of more options, because Marine Tank is going to get squished by charge lots with either Storm or Colossi. So definitely at that instant meat for it, but there's definitely a lot of viability for mixing it in. I don't know about Pure. I don't think Pure Mech's a little bit too immobile.
Right. All right. Well, that's going to be the last one trip. Sorry. I said 5 a.m. But well, how about now? I guess the last minute or so, you can just have you give out whatever shout outs, or you can maybe talk about coaching, because a lot of people seem to be interested in coaching. So, or but anything, any shout outs right now?
Yeah, definitely, shout out to my team. They're great, playing in the house with them is awesome. And then, of course, all our great sponsors, Intel, SteelSeries, Monster, Kingston, and Beyond Gaming. And, like I said earlier, if anyone wants lessons, just email me. I put it in the chat. It's Nick Aranis, just my name, at gmail.com. And I think I do pretty good lessons.
Oh, definitely great ones. I mean, this session is obviously an example of just what you get, one-on-one with them. So, again, we're really excited about having you on, and I definitely hope to do some more of these with you, and kind of get you in with a few other pros too. Just to kind of talk about some different strategies, and just kind of collaborate a bit. So I hope you're interested in doing it, and but I appreciate you coming on, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show.
Cool. All right, take care, man.
All right, you too.
See ya.
That's fair.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes today's show. Hope you guys learned a lot about Protoss. I wish I had more players lined up for him, but I had a few players. I kind of had something come up, so unfortunately we had to have some of the time kind of delayed there, trying to look for more people. But spread the word. Definitely hope to get more viewers next time. I know today was kind of crossed with WCG, and a little bit overlapped with day 9. So let your friends know. I'll post the VOD for this on my YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel and follow. There's the VODs from last week here, and the definitely give me your comments and stuff on the TL thread, and this show is still a work in progress. So anything y'all want to see, some players you want to see, around the community, let me know, because I want to get some really popular folks, and as well as some lesser known folks, and to try to get the community to appreciate some of these people that are trying to fight their way up there. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to shut the stream off for now. Take care, and look for the VODs. Later.